Yeah,
So
this shit's so mystical to me.
what, so I mean, it makes sense that because the baby, when the baby is in the womb, if it, let's say it's a girl baby, it's creating itself from the components that the mother has. So those components that create the eggs that are in the womb of that baby, who then gets born and grows up and has a baby, those eggs were created in while the baby was in the womb of their mother. So our grandmother. Go
It's
on,
On
so
hard to say.
on the maternal side.
yeah.
Well,
So I have
why
a question
would
about,
be a grandmother?
so are humans the only ones that do that or chickens as well? Like, I don't know where, like, why are the human eggs, or is it just humans? Do you know? Is there, I just find that kind
I
of
don't
really
know.
interesting because if it's just humans, then it has to do with what makes us different, in
I don't know
consciousness or
about the
reflective
animal.
consciousness.
Well, I mean, I guess it would be the same because if a puppy is in their mother and the puppy is being created from what is in the mother, the biological components of the mother are going into the puppy. So if the
Yeah,
puppy is a girl puppy, then the biological elements of their toenails and their tongue and their ovaries are all from the mother.
but isn't that true of the boys too?
Yeah, but the boys are
We
not
don't have
don't
ovaries.
don't have ovaries. Yeah.
So it's just
Not,
that one piece.
not basically. They don't, yeah, that's not
Right.
what we were talking about.
Right. Yeah, I know.
You had the potential of ovaries when you were first a zygote.
Yeah, and there are some boys who have ovaries too.
Yeah.
I mean, my ovaries were shot from the start from from my grandmother.
Ah,
Hmm.
And the whole thing about
hmm.
the design of pregnancy is that I have not studied this, so I know kind of one thing, and I'm about to share it. Is that every day, basically, this is very rudimentary, but every day there is something, for that first 6 months, especially when a fetus is being created, it's being created by the design crystal and the monopole together. And every day it's creating something. So, on day number so and so, it creates the ovaries. On day number so and so, it creates the liver and this, all of that stuff. Depending upon the transits in the sky, a lot of that is what has to do with birth defects. Like there was some glitch thing that happened planetarily during the time that someone's left ankle was being created, and that left ankle is now a weak ankle.
Wow.
Yeah.
It says it's not true for chickens. It's just a human thing, I guess. But I can't really find any articles on it. That was an answer from AI. So maybe we just hold that loosely and I'll try to
Okay. It
unravel
was just
that.
a mind curiosity. So
Well, and
Yeah.
chickens are a little different because they lay an egg. They're not creating
Right.
much. So maybe it would be more. That's why I used puppies because I didn't think it was the same thing.
yeah, yeah, mammals are, yeah,
Right, mammals.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe a mammalian thing. I just
Yeah.
So,
like saying the word mammalian.
yeah.
Yeah. I like my-
So Lacey, I'm wondering, like, I've been listening to all this Bay stuff, and now I'm getting more into cosmology, which I haven't gone into that much, to be honest. But I'm like, I'm having trouble. My little limited mental capacity is having trouble with eternal because if the whole thing is that things bo are born and they die, how could there be something that was never born? I don't understand how something could be never have been born. Like,
Yeah.
how did it start? It had to start. Is there something that never started that just always was? And that would make sense if I was that. But because I'm so trapped in this tiny tiny thing where things are live and die that I can't fathom it. Can you fathom that? Because you're the one that has everything inside of your.
Yeah, it's like and maybe this is my completely open spleen. Like they say that that one could be like beyond time. So time is like a weird fucking thing to me. But it's like I think that's what my mind shattering was. Like I grasped this thing and it is eternity. And it's weird because to me it was like the now used to feel like a pinhole. It was like I couldn't find the now because I couldn't figure out when it turned into past and when the future became like I couldn't see the now. And then it's like in that moment where my mind shattered, it's like that pinhole became all of it. As in like the future and the past, now I just see them as now. It's like the strangest thing. And it's like I think that thing that you're talking about is base one and base two when they're together. When they're together. But as soon as they come in here and everything's initiated, base two becomes three children and they all get split up across time. And base one has to stay outside of time. And all of this weird shit happens. So it's like that thing coming apart. That is what we're stuck in. Like we're stuck in this time. But if that thing comes all back together, it's like
So the
we're
only
back.
reason that there's birth and death is time. But I understand timelessness. I just don't understand something being there that wasn't created. Because something created something created something. But what's the very, very first thing? But there is no first thing because
Mm-mm.
that's also based on time.
So maybe something. So yeah, because of course my design is everything is about time.
Okay.
Everything is about time. Everything begins, everything
Right. The whole cycle thing.
shifts and changes,
Beginning
and
and
everything
ending and beginning and ending.
everything is that. So
I'm
I mean,
also
even
a
all
four ways. So
right. Oh yeah, yeah. So where there's this experience of timelessness that I know, which includes everything that is time. It includes all beginnings and endings. It's not separate from that. Like the fact that there was never a beginning and never an end, there is never an end, the eternal, includes time.
right.
So I don't know. I think because of our brains, we clock time as humans down to, nanoseconds now. Like I mean, so, got devices that will so break time down. And at the same time, as humans, we are moving through a time when we are so many people are wanting to experience timelessness, to return to a timeless place, which is like the Garden of Eden. The way we think of it, and of course it's said that the tree of knowledge was the discovery of the idea of time. The snake. The end of the Garden of Eden was the beginning of the idea, the concept of time, because that created limitation, that created differentiation, that created everything that defines us. Does that make sense? So there's this idea that before that we lived in timelessness, our experience. So like when I'm in my sacral flow, there is no time. I'm just in the now.
Except that when there's movement, there is time. We may not be clocking it. We may not be ordering
Yeah.
it, But if there is movement, there is time. Those are the same thing, aren't they?
It's true. So it's
And,
all
and the
about the
base one is the
environment.
movement. So that's how it started, was things moved.
Yeah, could be.
And
Could
before
be.
things moved, I guess the Big Bang would be the thing that got things moving.
It's a move.
And before that, there was just isness.
Well, we're gonna get ready to.
Yeah, it's like there was just isness for base 3 and 4, but base 1 and 2, they didn't know what the fuck that was. You know, like,
No, I don't want to be here for the Aerons. I'm glad I'm dying out for that one.
For the
Yeah.
what?
well, it's
The
like as
air-
much like think about being and just like movement. Like as foreign as being is to movement, movement is that foreign to being. And to make them fucking like mix up all the parts and go together, like the truth is literally juxtaposition, you know, like the truth is the tension that continues to create the movement. The truth is that I get hungry and I have to get up and fucking feed myself. Damn it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like humans can't just let juxtaposition be the truth and honor it for what it is. Like let it continue unfolding the life. Like honor it and say it out loud and bring it into the reality. You know, it's like we're all avoiding confrontation and truth, so none of us can just be comfortable with the juxtaposition that forces us around.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, apparently, one of the things I've heard, Philippe, is that at a certain point, the base one is going to cease. That
Ah.
will cease and go back to the sun or whatever it is. And
All
I
right.
have put that together with the other thing, which is that there's after the raves in, I don't know, Hanale might know more about this. There's these things called the Aeron. Do you want to talk about it, Hanale? They have like 3 personality crystals, or they have this whole thing, and they don't move.
They move.
Oh yeah.
They
I
do move, I think.
They don't move or things move through them.
No, they do move. They float about.
They lock into each other, and right? Is
Yeah,
that
but first they have to find each other, so they wouldn't find each other if they didn't move.
Like a bigger version of the rave kids.
I
Oh,
think
Lord.
as refrigerators.
Ah, the refrigerators.
Oh,
I mean,
No,
this is all stuff
great.
of science fiction I used
But
to
maybe
watch. when I
it's
was a
that
kid.
not that they don't move, but they don't move themselves. Something like that. They didn't seem like they could go to Spain when they wanted to.
So all this, except they could just go there in their consciousness because they
Yeah,
don't have to move their bodies. So
yeah,
this,
maybe.
what's so weird, all of this is stuff that I used to watch on TV when I was a kid. There were all these science fiction TV shows and stuff back in the 60s and 70s that had all this stuff. And I'm wonder, I'm like, is that like a premonition or was just Raw watching too many TV shows?
Well, it turns out that I've made some connections to, like pyramids and stuff. That actually the Aerons are going to be pyramids. And
Oh,
there's all kinds of calculations about, the positioning of them and the Sphinx and, all of that stuff. And I'm starting to see that maybe the older civilizations also had some ideas of what the future might be like,
yeah.
And, we don't know. I mean, we're discovering now.
Did anybody ever read the book Initiation by Elizabeth Hayek?
no.
Maybe that sounds interesting.
It
That
was
sounds
red. It was kind of a thick book. It had a red cover. It's called Initiation. And it was this woman, German woman, Elizabeth Hayek, I think it was, who had a memory of a past life in Egypt where she was entombed, perhaps is the wrong word, in the pyramid. And it was this initiation process where in the pyramid, she was given to dream all of her future lives. And as I remember it, I read this a long time ago, but as I remember it, if she was able to simply stay in the pyramid and watch all these future lives, like life after life, reincarnation after reincarnation, and simply behold them, then she would then eventually come back out of the pyramid and be whatever that was she would be, an initiate.
Oh my
And
God.
And that if, whilst watching the lives, it freaked her out, or she loved it, or she had some kind of personal attachment to it, she would end up being then in that life. And so there she was, this German woman living in Germany, and she goes, oh, I didn't make it through this one. I couldn't just watch this one. Or maybe she just needed to come and write the book and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So Hanalei and I have been suddenly going into these inner visions about these pyramids, and I had this thought, possible awareness of, you know, when I think of Ra, I often think the sun god Ra, because that's what the sun god of ancient Egypt was called, Ra. And anyway, so one of the things I saw is that up until a certain point, the little people, you know, just the regular everyday people, were not given much in ways to understand the mechanics of life. And that Ra, let's call it 3,000 years ago, decided that maybe we could see the mechanics of reincarnation. And so this whole initiatory process came for those of us who were the fractal to do it, whatever that is. And so we are now in that pyramid, looking at our future lives, which we are now living, and seeing the mechanics. And it's in this life that the mechanics were actually laid out for us by the same Ra who created the initiation process 3,000 years ago that we are undergoing in the pyramids.
Oh,
And that it's the same fractal. It's us.
yeah.
Here we are.
So if I can just say a little thing, I have to probably go in a minute, and I might come back. But last night on the beach, Max told a story about his ex-wife who channeled a story about getting into a vat. She said that everybody was in a bar and there was a vat there, and every time anybody got in the vat, it was just the same thing you just told. They would go into all their past lives and they would come, and if they got stuck, they would be stuck in the vat it's the same story. And this is something that was channeled by Max's wife years ago. And he channeled it last night for us he said, I have a story I need to tell. And a bunch of us were sitting on the beach in the dark, and he told this story.
And now I just told that story.
You just told that story.
Hanalei and I have been in the pyramid for like the last week.
Oh my God.
2 weeks.
Something in the
Yeah, like listen to this. So
Okay.
you can see this really cool in science. Like if you go and you look at the way that like RNA and DNA and the amino acids, the way they function, it's like all of like the little codons will go through this thing, and all this thing is doing is just reading it. Like it's just reading it and allowing it to pass through. And so like you can like even molecularly you can see these things, like they don't have to do anything. They just have to allow it to go through. And it's like all the way up to us. That's really what it is. Like that's exactly how my past lives were. I could not move on to the next one when I was trying to heal the people, make a decision about what it meant. I was trying to, you know, do all these things and get involved. And then as soon as I just sat back and watched them, I just got to watch them all. Like, and now I'll still get like visions, or I might go into a life or something, but it's like that process ended because I could just allow them. And it took me so long. It was so hard to realize that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
The
Ra
other
talk
thing,
to
and before you
before?
go, Philippe, I'm sorry, but I want,
Mhm.
whoever I interrupted, was that you, Lily? Um, the gate 30, line 3 has been in detriment. Do you know this too? It's been in detriment our whole life and has just like, what was it, Hanalei, 2 days ago
Yesterday.
went into exaltation for the first time in our
Oh
lifetime.
no, that was
And it,
for the first time. It was last year for a bit, but now it's been since January.
okay.
Wow.
What happened 3 days ago then?
It will moved on. The sun went into the 30, and then yesterday it was in the line 3.
Right.
And
What?
so it's in the exaltation for the first time. And the line 3 of the gate 30 is about reincarnation.
Ah, okay.
Tanalei's personality son. And
Wow.
the fates, and that's what I have been given this past, what's it been, a month or so, where I'm like, we need to feel what there is to feel. Emotional
Yeah.
feelings, psychological feelings, physical feelings, so that we can progress. So 30 to 35, so that we can progress into the new world that is forming beneath our feet.
Hmm.
And that's like the work we've been doing, where we just go in and feel whatever is there.
Yeah, we're the group of people I've been with, that's all been happening.
Nice.
Feeling after feeling, diving into feelings, opening, I mean, so many things. Physical things being moved through. I thought I was so injured I couldn't get up out of bed. 2 days later, I was fine. Just
Wow.
moving through. It's just it's been so rapid. And it feels like it's this movement toward something that we don't know. And yeah, it's been amazing. So,
And we
right.
can only get there if we feel what's inside of us, because that's what would stop us.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been doing all this
Right.
something called erotic shadow work.
Ooh, baby.
Embracing the shadow and making it sexy. Been pretty
Oh,
amazing.
yes, that's so me.
I know. It's so good. It's so good. As I learn about it, I'll share
Thank
it with you
you.
all.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
Okay, we gotta go.
Thanks for coming in.
Bye. Yeah. Love seeing you all and going to all these places.
Would you give Max a kiss for me?
I will do that.
Did you with tongue?
Mhm. Bye, y'all.
Adios.
How do I get out?
I've heard that.
So, Hanalei, you want to share anything about any?
I'd like to hear from Lily. She had something to say.
Oh, yeah, Lily, were you the one I interrupted? Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to think where it was point of conversation. Don't know.
Well, about reincarnation, about here we are, the fractal again.
What brought to mind is the story of Ra when he talked about being shown his past life and he was bored. So is that the same thing where you look at them and allow them to pass through? Not necessarily bored, but allow them to pass through and not be attached to one that comes through? Is that what you guys are talking about?
That's as I remember what the book said. Now, I read it 30 years ago, probably, maybe more, because I've been doing this life for 20 years. So that's what I remember, is that it was, well, basically what we would call witness consciousness, just see it. If you get attached to it, either because you really like it or you really hate it, both would be an attachment, then you get pulled into it.
Yeah, okay. I
What
find
would be the
that
point of being
But
pulled
then
into it? What would be the point of being pulled into it? Like, was there anything more about that?
Well, as I understand it from the context of this book, the point was not to get pulled into it, because then you would just maintain witness consciousness.
Mm.
And you would have gained all the awareness that you would have gained if you'd lived all that lives. You would have gained it just in however many, days or hours or whatever it took to be in the pyramid. But then, I'm combining that with the idea of this fractal of human design because Ra talks about it. If you are on the fractal to receive human design, and I do think I'm starting to think anyway that it's different if you are one of the lucky ones to find human design and actually make it an experiment in your life versus you are one of the many people who seem to be finding human design and thinking a lot about it. I think there's a difference, and maybe it's the fractal difference. But I'm wondering if that whole pyramid thing and this whole fractal that we are a part of now that is actually in the design of the mechanics, that maybe that was when it was first introduced, was that reincarnation is a mechanic. It's a mechanic of awareness, I suppose.
It's like we all wish that we could just like watch all the lives and not live them. But like we have to live them because the neutrinos take me with them. Like the neutrinos take me with them. Like they leave parts of themselves in me and they take parts of me with them. And that's how they're building the baby. It's like us living in this material and filtering this consciousness like we do, like the baby's being built out of us. And if we weren't alive in these bodies, it wouldn't have our material to do that, So it's like we have to be here in the body for it to be
Like
built.
being here.
Yeah.
But I'm a very tactile person, so I like the touch of being here. I like petting the cat. I'm staying with the cat right now, and she's so funny. If I go to her and I put my hand but don't touch her, and she comes to my hand, she lets me pet her. If I pet her on my own, she hisses at me. I'm like, I think, I think that this cat is a very interesting cat. She lives with two manifestors, and I'm wondering if it's manifestory. Like, don't invade their aura, let them come to you.
That's so interesting.
If I go near her, she's okay. Just like let her come to my pet, to my touch, and then she likes it. Whereas her manifestor people who she lives with, they just go pet her.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll watch my pets. They walk up to me and then they sit down, like maybe about 4 feet away.
Right.
And then like sometimes I'll really have to like be like, come on, or I'll have to like reach out and touch them first.
Hey,
But they won't come into my bubble until I like ask them to come in.
that's another thing that Hanale and I have been talking about, because there's this thought around the 1949 dissolving that we won't have relationships with animals like we have. And I have not, and what I thought that meant is that we wouldn't have pets anymore. Like that would just be kind of a passe thing. But what I've been seeing is not that. What I've been seeing is that pets are becoming more individuated. They're not going away. It's just that they're becoming like, I see these things like the dog goes and brings a blanket and covers the baby. There's this one dog that does the laundry at its people's house when it's out of town. It's like it gets the laundry out of the dryer, puts it in the basket, and takes it to the other room and shit. I'm like, no, this is not the time when the animals go away and become wild. This is when they become who they are, and we have relationship with him, not based on we get to do anything we want to you because we're going to feed you. That was the relationship that was in place in the 1949. We'll take care of you until we kill you, is basically that old relationship. And then I heard myself thinking, Hanale and I pull this stuff out of each other, and I'm like, yeah, they've learned a lot from us. What if we learned from them? We need to up our game and start learning from them, right,
Being
Lil?
being respectful of what
Yeah.
and who they are rather than what we anthropomorphize them.
Morphied.
And it's kind of neat that you guys are this being talked about, because I got a text from my brother this morning, and one of his dogs passed away this morning, and his name was Finn. And we used to watch Finn once in a while, and he was very special in the sense of so different. And we'd take walks back in this wild place, and we'd call it Finland because he loved it so much. And so then it went to we didn't watch him for a couple of years or whatever. And then this was a few years back, and we were invited to my brother's house, and we had a new car. So Finn would not recognize that car, right? But we were in that car, dark windows, just pulling in off the street into a long driveway, and he recognized us.
Right.
And he ran up, because he wasn't one that would just let anybody pet him, or he wasn't a lap dog or anything. And he stood and he sat outside that door waiting for us to get out of that car. Now, you could not see in that car, right? And he's never saw that. How did he know? So there, to me, is that respect to see a creature or a being that has this capability
That's right.
that was so apparent. And then when we got out of the car, he wouldn't leave us. And everywhere we were, we would pet him. And my brother would say, he doesn't even do that for me. So what's
Really?
going on? Yeah. So you're bringing this up about the change over, and I think what you're saying, Tiara, is more right on than all of a sudden there'll be no connection whatsoever, and they'll just be feral, and they'll want to eat you rather than
Right, right.
hang out with you, kind of thing. Which that could happen too,
Well, thank you. And it goes to this thing that I feel so passionate about, is that you have to look and see what you see.
Yeah.
You don't just take someone's word, whoever it is, and think, okay, that's what is. You look and see. Am I seeing that?
Try not to direct it with your own thoughts, just observing it.
Right,
And
exactly.
yeah,
What am I
and the
seeing?
dogs are like amazing in that to me. Like, and cats too, but dogs, like, wow. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we'll still have relationships. It just will be different. It won't be the same.
And
It'll be better.
I think that respectful is just the word, Lily.
You respect them.
Yeah.
When we talk about, I think Lacey was talking about, or you were, Tiara, about the fractals and what was laid down in the pyramids, like what you and Hanalei have been,
Mhm.
acting about, and the shows that I am watching right now about the connection between something much older than 5,000-6,000 years ago, something older and older, of tens of thousands of years ago, and then destroyed and remnants left over, and then they're digging up these sites that were intentionally buried. Intentionally buried. And now they're being found within the last few years. And they have all this crypticness going on. And they keep thinking it's something for us now to take in, to see. Just like human design now is presented.
Right.
Oh, it's been part of the mechanics of things since the Big Bang, I say.
And I wonder if the people who are discovering them are the people who buried them.
You wonder. I didn't think about that.
Right?
You know when they've been found?
Pardon?
When have they been found?
I can't tell you exact, but when I watch the documentaries, I look to see what year they were made.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that would coincide, but I know part of them were being found like back in the turn of the century, the 1930s, 1940s.
Mhm.
But now they're being looked at in a sense of challenging archaeology and what their story is about humanity.
Yeah.
It's so different than what these sites are saying. It's so different that there is a code that can unlock it globally, they're saying. But they're looking for the code of what was buried. Why would they bury things? Or why would they hide things like in the pyramids or
Because we weren't ready for them.
ready? And if it was given to us too soon, would it have been what? Apocalyptic or what?
Well, you know, I think that a big part of my life is
And
2084.
who's the they who decided, who created them and who decided to bury them?
My life, I think a big part of it is about 2084 because this is when a piece of the sun is going to incarnate. And I don't know what we will think then. I don't know if we will be ready for that then or if it will be common knowledge that that's going to happen. I don't know what humans would try to do to protect themselves or anything, you know? So like I don't know, like maybe at that point in time we'll be burying places or
Oh,
building things
right.
underground because we're trying to protect ourselves from the neutrino changes. Like, you know, I think that there's always the fall at the end of the cycles. And I think that humans have done all kinds of things to try to protect themselves from that fall. And I think that it's documented and we continue to uncover it over time so that we can understand that the fall is not our fault. There's nothing to do to stop it from happening. You know, like it's good and purposeful and a part of it. And if we align to the fall, you know, we can move with it because, and so I think that's really interesting too.
Well, strategy and authority and stuff, with the shift and change, that's aligning to a fall, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just something that in these shows, I'm taking it with a grain of salt as far as they keep saying they're trying to tell us something that was coming into the future. And if we're part of the baby's body, is this a necessary nutrient or something? What do you want to call it for the body to develop and the consciousness? Aren't we going to be in the ajna, whoever sticks around for the Enron? Isn't that where we're at?
I thought we were in different places.
Mm.
You'll probably be in the ajna.
I think that, there is a thing about the ajna that we are actually the evolving part of the baby's ajna, without consciousness.
Yeah. So I always imagine if I'm one of the souls that like I'm sitting in some kind of control panel and I'm looking out of a window, I can see the cosmos in front of me. And speaking of the ajna, I just read today in what is it, Roz? Is it the gray book? Black? Is it gray or black?
Black Book.
Black book.
Well, the Black Book was the first one written.
And he was talking about how intuition is in the ajna and instinct is in the spleen. And we talk a lot about intuition in the spleen. Anyway, I want to put that out there for future. I'm unburying it.
Why would the intuition be in the ajna? Like, is there a logical reasoning?
And according to what I read, this is what Ross said in is it the gray book or the very first book? Foundational thing for human design. And that instincts are different than intuition, which
Yeah, because I have instincts, but I don't have intuition.
So would intuition be more like I'm just thinking of the Ajna binary, so something like an inner vision.
inner vision, yeah,
No, instinct is
intuition,
Intuition.
not instinct.
intuition. What I remember hearing him say is that it's a flutter, and I think of it as in the lymphatic system because the lymphatic system goes everywhere and keeps us alive.
But okay, so the ajna does what? Conceptualizes it. It figures things out. As the instinct is immediate, like there's a danger to my survival, true or not,
Instinct definitely feels splenic.
yeah. But when I read that, there's something in my body that fluttered, and I felt that's maybe it might be true.
Yeah, that you, well, I have never really, like, remember have any of you played the transformation game? I know you have with me, Lily. But there are these different things you go through, and there's one where you use your intuition for something, and I pretty much never get that one right. Like I don't even actually understand intuition. I think people use intuition when they have a sense of something or when they, like, I know that I'm someone, and I think a lot of people who grew up in unstable psychological or emotional environments are highly observant without even knowing it. So you might think you have an intuition about someone, but you're actually looking at the micro expressions on their face and how they're holding their body and the heat coming off of their skin and stuff. And so you think you have an intuition, but you don't. You're just very observant because you had to hone that skill. So I don't know that I even know what intuition is.
Steve and I were just talking about this, and he says he brought up an example, and this was years ago. We're getting ready to go into a yoga class, and it was at the library, and we were standing out with another person, and another younger person, man, was approaching us. And I read him instantly. It was this intuition, like I knew what his purpose was, I knew what he wanted, right? Steve did not, nor did the other person. But I thought it might be my spleen because I didn't feel comfortable, right? And here it was, he was approaching us, and I knew he was going to proselytize Jesus or something. I didn't know him, I didn't know any of that, but it was true. That's what he did, right? And so now I'm questioning the difference between the sense of intuition and the sense of instinct. Was that instinctual? Was it
No,
intuition?
I would call that intuition more than instinct. Instinct is much more body oriented in the now, boom. It's what I think Ra talks about splenic survival instinct. Run. You know,
My not self might have said this is survival because I didn't want him penetrating me with his thoughts, with his belief
yeah, but
system.
that's not survival.
I know, but I got it mixed up. So I'm
Oh, I see what you're saying.
wondering about that. I really am. And then the other day we were taking a walk and it was snow, and I saw my path. I was trying to walk on the snow so it's not as slippery, right? So it's on the edge of the street. And then my body just took a hard left, right?
That would be more instinct.
And then my concept was the reason why, because I think there's ice down there beneath the snow. So I went back on purpose just to see, and there was this slick ice that I was about to step on, and I didn't.
Well done, Lily Body.
No. So the difference between instinct and intuition, I called it intuition, but is it?
I think that would be instinct.
Yeah,
Because that would be something that could be in any mammal. You know, the instinct for survival and sensing that ice in the snow.
but it was I love these examples when I know all of us have them. That I had no choice. It's just my body did it, right? And it's done it a couple times on these streets. And it's not my ajna going, I think the water kind of comes down there and that's where it settles and it froze and now it's being covered over. Maybe I shouldn't, that's to me is more intuition rather than instinct. Anyway,
Yes,
this,
I don't. Hey Siri, what is the
I
definition
am
of intuition?
Intuition means the ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning.
That's stupid. Did you hear that?
yes.
I may have something on that.
Okay,
you-
let's have it.
Is the sound okay?
Uh-huh.
It's perfect.
So instinct to me, I'm looking at these things as through evolution. So spleen would be the first, center to develop, to evolve in living beings, and it's really quick, So the second example where your body just went, that would be an instinct because it happens before any thought is involved. It's so quick, it's
Right.
faster than you thought, and then you just realize afterwards what happened, right? So, and then I'm going to skip the ajna for a moment because that's the second part of the evolution would be the ajna. And this is about vision, inner or outer. But then when you talked about the intuition part, I was just seeing the solar plexus awareness. I suppose, like taking in all kinds of vibrations of that person, like unconsciously maybe smells and all of that, but it's more like overall vibration of that person that you can't really explain, but you're aware of. And it takes a little time you might know immediately that something is off because it's so sharp, but then it takes a while for you to watch it and analyze it before you can realize that, there's something.
No,
So that's
because
why I would-
intuition does not take any time. That's the
No.
whole thing about intuition is it doesn't take time.
It's more still,
It's more instantaneous.
Okay.
I think it's more what you were describing. I think that what you're talking about, Hanale, is something, but I don't think that would be called intuition. I think intuition is more that thing with the proselytizer as
Yeah.
opposed to the ice slick. I think you had two really good examples there. And it does sound more ajnik because you actually had thoughts about what he was going to do, not just like that guy has bad vibes, I don't like him, he's not good. It's like, no, he's going to want something from us. He's going to, and I want to add into that is something that you would have honed growing up in the family that you did as a second line, because people would come at you and want something at you because of that projection field. Which isn't to say it wouldn't, but I've never had something like that. I've never, I mean, I might turn away from someone and not, want them to come near me or not want to interact or something, but I don't have that full, like, this guy's going to want blah, 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 blah from me. So it sounds more conceptual, like an ajna would. Whereas I probably have more what you're talking about, Hanale, with my feeling thing. I don't like the feeling of that. I'm moving away. I'm crossing the street.
is that intuition?
No, I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't call it instinct or intuition. I think it's a different thing. And the thing is, you, Lily, would have all three.
In the emotional, I have the abstract, and in the ajna head, I have abstract. So they're connected.
Right.
3. Oh. Then I got my fourth line. It's like,
Right, because everyone thinks you're their friend because you have that friendly body. And you're like, what do you want?
what do you want? And don't fucking use me to get
Right, to
picture.
get it. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. There was something I was going to say about that. Now I can't think of what it was.
And to this day, Steve is still in awe of that. He says, I had no clue, none, zero. And I went, oh, okay. So, and then was it today or yesterday? I just started reading about the instinct and the intuition.
Right. I think that actually is a good differentiation to make because they're both lumped into the spleen. But I agree that instinct is a better word for the spleen. In fact, I think it's the tribal stream that comes up through the 5432 and goes up that way is the instinctual stream through the 4426. That I think is called the stream of instinct. Whereas the other one, and you have this too, the other one, the 58 to the 18 to the 48 to the 16 is called the stream of taste. But I actually heard Ross say the words yesterday. Anytime you see a keynote of taste, it means judgment. It means discrimination, which in essence is what you were doing. I'm judging that this guy's coming, he's bringing that, and I don't want it. That don't taste good. So that would be more the intuitive, maybe, but I still think I kind of like the intuition being in the ajna. Do you have anything about it? Because what we're talking about here are awareness centers. And Lily, you have all three. Hanale and I only have the emotion, which is a semi-awareness center. And Lacey doesn't have any of them. So you might be the one that would see it the best, Lacey, because you don't have it, because you would see it in other people. Do you have anything? Or maybe you got nothing.
Well, yeah, it's really interesting to me, this fucking spleen. And you know, my mom, she has 57. She has 5734, and I have hanging gate 10. And so like I got to see her do things that didn't make sense to me a lot. And when she's doing them, I think she's so stupid. Like that's what my mind thinks. So like, for example, when I was very sick and I was going to have to terminate my second son, she was the one that was like, you have to try this last thing. And I was like, no. I was like, I have cleaned out the health food store. Like there's nothing else to try. I already made the decision that we're terminating and I'm doing that now and da da da. And then so she shows up at my house with it. She's like, you have to try this. And I'm like, okay, you're here, I'll do it. And I drank water for the first time in 12 weeks. Like within a couple hours, 6 hours, I was drinking water again. And I was like, wow. And then she was like, you have to share this with other pregnant women. And I was like, no, like I hate network marketing. Like all these ideas are so stupid, right? But she's like, she feels something about it. Like there's information that she has that I don't have. And I need to shut up and I need to try to receive it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'll do that with my kids because they're both splenic. So it's like my biggest job is to not see awareness as dumb and it's like I really struggle to register the splenic stuff, I think. And it's amazing because I signed up and sold that CBD and we sold like $5 million worth of CBD oil all over the world. And so it's like, it's so funny to watch how resistant I can be to it and to not understand it at all and to just be like totally outside of that to where I don't even value it. Like it's something I really had to work on. And it feels like fear to me. It feels like she's afraid. Like, are you afraid for these women? Like you need me to do, like, you're afraid, like I need to, and it always feels like I'm being controlled by people's fear. But if I just open up to it and kind of like move with it, I get some pretty cool things and new awareness.
Yeah, Lily and I had this long conversation the other day, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or something, where I was saying, yeah, I don't actually have that much awareness unless it's emotional. And Lily was like, how is that possible? You know, it didn't seem like, and so we kind of went into this, and I don't even remember everything that we talked about. Maybe you all want to say something, but there were a couple of times where I remember in the conversation, you would say something, Lily, and I would go, oh, huh, okay. And I recognized that I would never have had that awareness by myself, but Lily saying it brought it as an awareness to me, and then I can use that awareness. You know, it's kind of like being right-minded. Someone can give you a strategy and you can use it, you just don't come up with them. And so I think that's maybe the biggest thing. And that I think the hardest one to understand this is Lily, because you have all three of them. So it doesn't even occur to you that other people don't gather awareness along the way because that's part of your deal.
No, but it's part of my deal for others.
Why?
Well, two of them are abstract, so it's to share with the collective.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So is our design just for us, or is it also outer authority to help others, even though I have all three and somebody doesn't have any?
I love this place because my individual channel, my 8-1, my individual example is for the collective. And that's why it's such a hellhole. You know, like the end of the individual line
People.
at the throat is about sharing with the collective. It's so fucked. That's the only way that collective gets the new things.
So your one channel, no, you have two. Wait, you have two, right? Two channels.
This is the 1-8.
The 1-8 is for the collective. Because my sun gate is the 8. So I'm a very collective person. Yeah.
I have to
So
be myself for the collective that hates me being myself.
and in order for me to make a contribution, I cannot do it any other way except to be who I am.
Yeah.
I cannot teach in that sense, on purpose. I just have to do it through my experiential experiences and what's, yeah, it's not as conceptual as experiential, which is collective.
Right, the experiential. And the other thing is that just to add on to the I cannot teach sentence you just said is that especially because you're a motivation for, that's not your purview, that's your transference. The ones are the teachers. So you can see what someone needs and you can share your experience to see if they get it. You can share your outer authority for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I have noticed that so consistently and gratefully in my relationship with you, Lily, is that when you just be yourself and we communicate and talk and share and all of that, I get a lot. When you try and tell me something, I don't get that much.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying, Lacey, is that you're kind of in the same boat in that sense.
Mhm.
And I never thought about it that way, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the individual is for the collective. And that's why gate 15, you know, the gate of extremes, I see that as base 1. I see it as God the Father at the end of my aura. And its whole thing is about allowing all, like everyone deserves their place in the collective. And it's like at the end of the cycles, the collective starts getting all weird. And it's like rejecting people and kicking people out and labeling people and all this stuff. And it's like we have to somehow like allow all of the extremes and all of the individuals to be in their places.
You know, Lily, I was thinking about you. I've been noticing such a big difference. I'm going to start somewhere else between Hanalei and I's emotional reality. We both are 59 sixes. I mean, she's also a 30 and a 55, and I'm also a 36. So that's different right there. But I've been seeing the difference between having your son in the emotional center, like Hanalei, and it's defined, versus me, where I have my son in the spleen. And I've been seeing how fucking splenic I am. And it's kind of flipping me out because I haven't identified as that with human design because I have an open spleen. So up until the last few months when this dawned on me, I hadn't really identified as being a splenic person. But 70% of me is splenic. And I have a couple other gates there and the 53 fucking times. So there's a like I'm a warm, caring, emotional person. Except I'm also a really cold ass bitch. And it's not a cold ass bitch to be bitchy or to be not caring. It's just this boom, 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 boom thing that I have in me that is only newly becoming conscious because I learned, you know, because I thought about it. And I see with you, Hanalei, you're really emotionally warm pretty much all the time. Or emotionally, you know, aggravated or emotionally this or that, but you don't have this kind of cold thing that I see in myself that much, that I see in other people who I have identified as splenic people. You know, like I see it in Tolly, just like boom, cold, I'm busy, don't bother me stuff. And so then I was thinking about you, Lily, and going, what is it to have the throat be the 70%? And I find that almost more peculiar. Like, what does that mean? Like, I understand the other two better. I understand the G, like Lacey's like has almost every gate except one in the G and is a Sphinx. And so this is just like G incarnate, right? But what is it to have your voice be 70% of who you are? And then to add to it, you have that fragmentation in the 23, so you can't always get out of your voice what's going on in your head. And I don't have any answers to that question. I just have been like looking at that. And is there anyone you, Lily, would like to say about that?
Well, the formula or the dynamics of that is my whole design this lifetime. It feels like, or my experience of it is patience and slow down and wait to be clear, wait, wait emotionally, wait, triple split, wait for the fragmented concepts to form and come out succinctly or somebody can understand them. And that really ties in with my gate 8 sun for contributions where I really have to be embodied. I really have to be who I am. Otherwise, I feel anxious or incomplete, or someone's going to call on me for that paper tiger shit, type of stuff. So the whole lesson has been about me being really who I am in any situation, and then my outer authority will, when called upon, will say that, because I kind of get down on myself about not being able to have these projects where, it can go out to many people. I feel really kind of isolated from that. It's more like one-on-one or, well, I mean, that's obvious with a projector, but I just wonder where my purpose is and all that, you know, in a broader sense. Did that make any sense whatsoever?
It made 100% of sense, but I don't know what it had to do with the throat.
Well, the throat is, well, me speaking right now, obviously. But the concepts that come out of my throat, I think the Gate 23 is really important. And that I hardly have the patience to gather, you know, it's all in there and I want to share it. I want to contribute and it comes out sometimes good and sometimes gobbledygook. And I can see the difference when I take time to, before I speak, to have some kind of clarity. You know, I got the 6447. You wait for clarity, you know, on that in that sense about you're just patient until it becomes clear. And that's the same for the throat. So I think that's where it wants to come out. My contribution has to come out the throat. And it's not easy when you're fragmented, when you're
A fragmented emotional triple split projector. It's tough. It's
And you
tough.
know what?
Everything about your design makes you want to wait, except for your spleen. But
Yes.
the one thing I imagine can give you relief in that is when your 5720 can just be witty and funny because it can just go boom, boom, boom. And that's like your release valve.
It's that's my favorite channel.
I know.
But I shouldn't have favorites probably, but yeah. And the thing is, everyone's got their stuff in their designs, but I actually love myself. So
No,
I wouldn't want to be anything else.
so it would make sense to me that you are here to make a contribution with your voice and that is a prominent aspect of your purpose. And you have learned that you have to do this whole waiting thing in order to fulfill that purpose.
While I'm waiting, this is hit me. It's been on here for a while. My communication is a creative process, a recognition of feelings in my art. So my artistic expression is a communication, a creative process, and the recognition of my feelings, which then can be shared. So my art really is probably writing, and maybe I've been told over and over again, people love when I take them through like a meditative journey. They like my voice. I don't know. I just don't know. Anybody know anything?
I feel like it's very hard. And I think it's something I started noticing in network marketing because the person I used to just run around and I knew I could do anything and I knew anybody could do anything they wanted anytime, anyway, you know, like I was so cut out of limitations and type and all of this different stuff. Like I was an ego manifester and I treated everybody else like they were ego manifestors too. And I had this whole like problem because the way I wanted to help them was just help them share their story. Like just share what happens to you. And if you want to sell a bottle of CBD, just talk about yourself before you took it and then talk about yourself after you took it. Just sell a bottle of CBD. But no one could talk about themselves. And I was like, wow, this is because they don't know themselves, you know, and it's like, this is the time that I split away from everything and just zoned in on strategy and authority. And it's like, it's all throughout human design too. It's like, it's very hard for people to share anything. Like, it's hard for them to talk about what happened to them yesterday. It's hard for them to paint a picture and upload it on Facebook. It's like, everyone is so disempowered, and it's something that's really hard for me to understand because I still feel like I can do whatever I want, and I do. And so it's like a place for me that I just don't grasp, you know, like, because I just want to look at you and be like, do it, you know, like, let's get you up a website. Let's start getting your art on the thing. Like, you don't even have to do anything about it. Just do it because you like it, and the people who are going to see it will see it. And like, to me, it's that simple. But to everyone else, like, as soon as I say that, they'll give me 85 reasons of why they could never, or don't have the funds, or don't have the ability, or don't have the people, or the support, or blah, blah. They'll give me a million reasons, you know, and they'll never do their idea. And I just hate it. I don't understand. I wish we could just all have fun and do things that we'd like to do. I don't know why it's so complicated.
Well, you got to find out the things you like to do, first of all.
Well, it's like, even those people, even if they don't know themselves, they can still tell a story about something they liked. Like, get online and post about going to the ice cream store and getting your favorite ice cream. It's not freaking hard. They can't do it.
Yeah, but if they're a viewed power, they shouldn't be doing that because we don't want to hear personal anecdotes from power views.
I'm just saying, to get anybody to do anything they want to do, the things they say they want to do, they say they want to do this, and then they don't. They won't, they can't. There's a million reasons why. And that's
I
just what
don't talk to them anymore. If that's what I encounter, I don't keep going.
Well, it's like, you guys saw me do that with the website people.
Right.
They're human design people. There are people that think they are being themselves that aren't.
Right.
And it's very hard for a human to realize that their conditioning is stopping them from being themselves.
Can you, I don't know the story about the website people. Do I?
It's like, we worked on this big website for a year that was called Human Design Tree, and we were going to have all these analysts on it and do content, and they're like, I built this whole Facebook, so there was a whole social media platform. Like, it was amazing. And they would push back the deadline, we'd get to the next deadline, they'd push back the deadline, they'd push back the deadline, and I would communicate to them, this is what we're doing, like, I'm gonna be ready to launch, I'm gonna launch this. And finally I just walked away because we were never gonna launch that website. Never. I don't give a shit what all of them said about any of it. And they all thought they were correct the whole fucking time.
It sounded
still-
to me like it was a penta nightmare.
It was a penta nightmare. And I wish the individuals could just be who they are. And that is the contribution.
I agree.
They weren't being who they were. They weren't being who they are.
That was a shock to you.
Yes, yes. It's not just regular network marketing people. It's the people that are teaching human design. It's everyone. And they avoid the truth that they are conditioned. And that's why they don't do anything.
And I think it comes down to likely that there are feelings that they're not wanting to feel.
Yes.
They don't want to feel the fear. They don't want to feel the discomfort. They don't want to feel the pain in their body. And then they stop rather than feel what needs to be felt so that they can go forward.
Yes, it stops their movement.
It
Their
stops their
inability to
movement.
feel stops their movement.
Stops their movement. And without movement, there's nothing.
There's
Movement
nothing.
is creation.
It's so boring. Yes.
Yeah.
There are so many human design people who are in these isolated little hellholes because instead of doing their experiment, they're just listening to an authority figure and they're isolated.
And I don't think that they're in the fractal, I guess, that is actually here to do the experiment. You know,
Maybe
I
all of us
don't actually like the idea that there's a limited fractal that are here for human design. I don't like that idea. I want it to be for everyone. I want everyone who can find it to drop everything they need to drop and just be in the experiment, because that seems like that's when magic could happen on this planet. So I don't like the thought that there is a fractal who is here for it and they're the ones that are going to get it. But
Yeah.
the more I see what's going on, that seems to be what's happening. That there are those who will just actually do an experiment and take the risk and be courageous. And there are those that are just going to think about it the same way they thought about anything else in their life and get excited and let their mind go on about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't like it, but it seems to be what's true.
Like, I just read this morning, Rod, a short thing he talked about. It's really hard to break through the surface. Can be for people.
I don't
So
know
the
what that means.
surface of the information of human design, which is first you come in contact with it, you hear it, you read about it, and people just stay there. That's the surface. The next point is to actually experiment with it and to experience it and embody it and have that
It's
courage.
actually not hard. It just takes courage.
Well, when he talked about the potential of all human beings could awaken, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like some people aren't genetically capable of seeing. That's where we're going. There will be people that aren't genetically capable of seeing and people that are.
and
And
not to be attached to that.
the people who see better know the difference because the people who think won't.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what I try to do so hard. Like I have to become aware of the person's like level of awareness, you know, like to just like they can say all kinds of fancy words and show me all kinds of certifications and da, 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 da. I need to be able to see past that shit. It's a need for all of us, you know, like, and that's like someone just going to the doctor about mental anxiety. Like you need to be able to see past a lot of stuff today. It's so interesting.
And I think what holds me back is the attachment to somebody getting it. And that's all about myself in that sense. Whatever my personal stake is in it and why. Why would I be so attached to that?
To someone else getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you? Unless
No.
it was Steve, I understand that. Because you live with them.
Right. But it has to do this is another new thing I'm kind of looking at in another way, of why it's such a burden to be attached to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and he was talking about there are some people like with
Who's he?
Ra about mental disorders and stuff, and he said in the beginning of his career he overshared, you know, and people just were not taking it in, and to read the room, so to speak, of where they're at, and that's hard for me to where they're at. And the reason why it's hard is I get in my own way in that sense. And as another example, I'm coming up with examples today. Our neighbor, they're getting a divorce, and we've known him for 30 years, and she's moved out, and he's come down here, and he is one of the most unaware manifesting generators. I could just see this suffering. He is innocence and he's in his desire. It's just, you know, and so I said something to him. I said, do you know when you're born? Because they know me about human design. He said, no, but he went and paid for it. He called them up. He went and got them. But I think, what am I to share with him? Because I could turn him off because he he's, when he was here talking to me, I says, you have to stop. You are so much in your head. I can't take it. I said, can you get your birth time? And I asked him if he wanted me to share. He says, yes, yes. And he went and did it, right? So now I'm scared.
Well,
It's going to burden me with shit.
I actually think that that is the person that you do exactly the thing that Ross said. You look at their chart and you see how fucked up they are and you tell them what they're fucked up with. I think that is the only way to do something with that person. And I don't think I do very well at that because I'm a teacher, right? So I just want to teach people human design. But that doesn't like grab them by the balls and squeeze them so that they want to change. And that's what I think has to happen with someone like that. You got to grab their balls and squeeze them. Like this is what has been happening all your life, and this is where the pain is.
And then he was talking in this, what I was reading about the person that sometimes just this, he talked about the surface, give them the surface information, strategy and authority, and walk away.
Yeah, but I think someone like you're talking about needs some shock. They need like every time you do this, people are going to not want to be near you. Every time you do that, you are going to be frustrated. You have been frustrated your whole life, and you now have an ulcer from it. I don't know this guy, but whatever. That's what I would say is the only thing someone like that is going to be reached. Is he on your fractal?
I think I don't know if, I don't know. I don't know if I could see him if he wasn't.
But I mean,
He's,
you're fractal to get human design from you.
I don't know.
Look in your inner vision.
Yes.
There you go.
I remember.
Grab him by the balls, Lily. The other
Yeah,
thing is that you're very actually attuned to what people need. And if you can just trust that and get over your paper tiger thoughts, you'll know what he needs.
to me, I deeply know that I can't tell anyone anything. It's like I looked at this group of website people and they all have completely open crowns. And I was like, you guys are getting lost in inspiration. That's why we never get any results. That's why we don't get anything done. People don't want to hear that. And they will believe everything but what you are saying. They will work together to make you wrong even if you're right. Like I know that I can't tell anybody anything. That's why I'm so adamant about strategy and authority. Because if I can get somebody watching their own body, maybe they'll tell me that in 3 years, but I can't tell them shit. So it's like maybe as you get to this place where you just take the pressure off of yourself for delivering the message. Like the message is never delivered in my view of aloneness. Like the things that I say when I say them to you, you're not, when I say the word rain, everybody thinks of something different. They don't think about what I'm thinking about. The essence of the word, the understanding of the word, like that doesn't ever transfer. So when I'm putting somebody onto their strategy and authority for the first time, it's like they don't understand what sacral means. They don't understand what invitation means. They don't understand what any of the things I'm talking about mean. It's like if I try to reach anyone with anything, it's the open sinners, but that's the last thing their mind ever wants to believe because their mind is going to do everything to keep itself, in control. So it's like, I don't know if it's possible to communicate human design to someone who's not watching their own self, discovering their own body. It's like, I need everybody to be watching and discovering their own bodies, and that is us being in the experiment. That's why it's 7 years. Like if I could tell you, okay, cool, I'll tell you and you'll get it right. No, because I can't tell you. That's like the tragedy of it.
But he'd be a good test subject for. in that sense.
Yeah, it's like whatever he needs, life will conspire to help him. It's like if he needs to come back and get more information from you, he will.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, he won't, and if he gets it from somebody else, he will. It's like if you can just trust life for this man and trust his own authority, I think that's where we're going. Like we have to learn how to trust each other's authorities.
I agree. Then it takes a lot of burden off of that
Yeah.
person. And it makes it more fun and interesting, I would think.
Yeah. It's way more freeing. Like there's not any like pressure or like blame and shame, like everybody's just moving around getting the information. And it's all here, it's all available to get.
Yeah.
The fact that he came specifically to you, he needed the information from you.
Yeah. It was the epitome of a generator in frustration. Like he was consumed. And my heart just like, oh, really went out to him, even though he's difficult.
Yeah. I feel so bad for so many people. And like if they come to me, maybe I can try to do something for them. And if not, then I'll just feel bad for them from afar.
Yeah.
But yeah, today was good.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about the intuitive and the instinct. And that gives me lots of openings to look back and to see.
Yeah. That's
And
what I'm always trying to watch. So I'm excited to hear you guys keep talking about it. I feel like it's something like the heart and the spleen are so impossible for me to get.
the heart.
Like my own heart, because like I'm surrounded by completely open hearts. It seems like I prefer them. And I really try, yeah, like I really try to like mentally grasp worth and what is worthy of this person's time, attention, resources, like what is worthy to them, like what is their worthy wisdom. And it's just like maybe because I am this definition, like it's very hard for me to mentally wrap my mind around it. It's like I watch it and it like shock and awes me, but it's hard for me to understand this worth and this unworthiness, I guess.
Well, I was actually thinking about it as I was walking along. I think it was yesterday, and I was pondering that very thing, like, do I have self-worth? And I went like this. Like, where would that be?
Where is it?
It was like I didn't even have anything to think about. But then I thought, but I do have self-esteem. I esteem myself. I love myself, but I don't know what I'm worth. I don't know if that helps you at all, the difference between self-esteem and self-worth.
Yeah, it's like empowerment, like because I see myself empower people. And maybe like if a person is like a certain level of like unworthiness inside themselves, maybe they're so disempowered. There's something
but
about that.
empowerment is because you're such an individual.
It's
You
like when someone feels unworthy, they won't do things. They don't think that they're worthy of being here now with this person in that place. And they don't do things like, and I feel like I just know so deeply, like, no, you're worthy of being here. Like right now, here in this place with these people, like where else would you be? It's like nobody wants to see themselves as worthy of being born and just being here.
It's not whether they want or not. What I notice with people who have defined egos is that they feel very comfortable taking up space. Like
Okay.
I've a number of times done group things with people with human design and had people, emotional versus non-emotional, sacral, no, just little even things like that. And each time I put the defined egos together, they go like that. They each have their own space and they're standing in their space.
Yeah, they like own that space.
Yeah, they own the space. That's exactly right. I don't I don't have a sense of that in me. Now, I walk around in space. Most of my life is spent walking around in space. That's my life. And I don't feel unworthy of my life or you know, taking up the space I take up. It's my space and I do what I do. But I don't have this sense of myself. I once met someone with a defined ego, and it was someone who didn't dress well and didn't present well. And I wouldn't look at this person and think thoughts of, wow, worthiness or something. But they took up their space and were absolutely confident that they had every right to to be this thing that they were. And it's not even that I question, because I don't even think about it. But there's a solidness to the defined ego that is not what I experience in undefined egos.
It's so cool the things you're saying because you're like like when we were like they own that space. Like I really grasped that like, we were talking about the neutrino ocean as the willpower dimension, like the willpower field. And it's like maybe they're like owning that space, like the neutrinos in that space. Like there's something so about the matter.
Yeah.
And then you were like, they're solid. And I'm like, well, when you think about the neutrinos, like the mass inside of them, like the fact that they have weight, like they are matter, it's like holding that space. What the fuck are you holding? How much weight? Like what's in that mass? Like that's so deep to me. Yes, that was so good to me.
When you think about the openness in any chart, where you feel the resistance is in the definition. So I'm wondering about a not self-ego person,
Yeah.
where they would meet the resistance, of course, in the defined ego. Let's say they're open emotional or wherever they're that not self will hit up against that ego, and then there will be resistance, which is, however, it can be stress in the body, it could be anxiousness or whatever. I'm curious about that. If the ego wasn't nurtured, growing up, the defined ego.
Yeah, and I feel like none are. Like none are.
And Stephen's defined, and I notice that he has this innocence about, well, yeah, I am who I am, or yeah, I want to commit to do that, or whatever. But I also see when he's in his not self that it affects the way he expresses his ego.
Yeah,
So
what's that like?
it's more like he needs a lot of reassurance.
Like, does that, so I think that is what I'm saying about the disempowerment thing. Like something happens to the heart and it loses its ability to like do, like, and it gets so like you can just really take the spirit right out of it or something.
Yes. Yes. Um, I have noticed that with Steve on both ends when he is in that's his authority. So when he's in his authority, it's very powerful, but it's not that he knows, it's not that he tries to be that, he is that. When he tries to do something, it's usually from an openness that he has, like a conditioning, and it doesn't match his ego. It doesn't match it. I don't know if this is the best way I could say it. I find it curious because I'm open ego. And so when he really, really wants a lot of recognition that he accomplished something, um, I'm wondering if that is his true ego self, or if it's comes from a place of doubt, or I'm not sure about myself and my spleen or my head or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, as
Yeah.
I understand it, the ego needs to be fed. You know, the
Yeah.
40 is in there, right? And we've seen, Lily, we've talked about how it can really surprise us when we see a defined ego person who is so tender-hearted.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I hurt them. I was just being splenic, or whatever. Now I'm on a kick about that, but it's like, well, I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't, because to my outer view, looking at that solidity of a ego person, they don't seem vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's a vulnerability to the heart center that must be nurtured, that must be nourished, that must be fed. I mean, let's use because the stomach lives there, in order for it to have the capacity to to do what it's here to do, it has to be fed. Now, does it have to be fed by other people? This is not a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
I think I have like literally been forced to grow into somebody who gets it from the neutrino stream. And when I say forced, I mean like I never made a decision that
Because
I
you
wanted
couldn't,
that,
because it wasn't coming from anywhere else.
because like the things that I was doing and saying, they just were totally unrecognized. Like it
Right.
just go right over somebody's head. And so life forced me into being someone who got it from the 64, the neutrino stuff. And now, but that might just be a healthy heart center, because I've read Ra saying that no ego is healthy that can't stand rejection. So like if you turn down a defined heart person, if they can't just be within their ego and take that and be like, no problem, then that's not them in their full power. And I've seen periods in my life where I can't take rejection. I've seen periods in my life where I can take rejection. And I feel like I've been forced to like just grow out of rejection at all. It's so weird. And maybe that's just a manifestor being in their aloneness. I don't know.
Rejection. I wanna ponder that. Rejection. I mean, who would we say about any type or center? Oh, they take rejection really well.
I think it's specifically talking about the 26, that salesperson that goes out, they
Okay.
sell the thing, they collect their nose, they come back in, they're like, oh, everybody hates me, I didn't make any money. And they need somebody to be like, no, you're the best
Pump the
salesman.
ego, pump the ego.
Yes, it's like if you can't go out there and take your nose, like if you get to a point where that rejection, you're taking it personally or something.
It's an interesting thing that the rejection, um, a healthy, defined ego needs both. It needs nourishing and pumping up, so to speak. You know, um, I'm in your court type of thing. I love that. To overly wanting somebody to keep pumping them because they're not in their full blown glory of having the ego as their
Like growing
authority.
into it.
It's growing into it. And if you didn't have that as a kid, you have to do it, like all of us in some way or another, as an adult. So
Yeah.
what would it look like to have a defined ego child raised as they can be raised or could be raised?
Well, I have a defined ego child, and
Yes.
certainly didn't know human design at the time, but I probably did really well considering I didn't know human design at the time. And Tolly is very interesting in this regard because I've heard her, she has two cousins who also have defined egos. I was once in the car with them. We just happened to all be in the car, and I don't remember how this conversation even ever happened, but someone said something, it might have even been me, of, well, the three of you are really lucky with your genes because they're all just like really beautiful people, right? And they all went, yeah, we're just really beautiful, aren't we? It was like egos just went, yeah, we're just
Yeah.
gorgeous people, you know, and it was delightful. I really loved that. Um, but I can also see in Tolly something that confuses me when she wants to be liked, but I think that's the open emotion. You know, she
Yeah.
wants people to like her so she won't have to feel their negative feelings. So I don't think that's an unhealthy ego thing as much as a not wanting to confront and all of that stuff.
But it has to be, the resistance is going to be felt in those defined centers.
What resistance?
To where if she's trying to be liked from a not self perspective, not from wisdom,
What would be the correct perspective? I mean, is it ever, should we ever, I mean, I don't know
I
what
feel
the
like,
self perspective of wanting everyone to like you would be. I don't think that's ever self.
like I feel like I feel like I'm like grasping a difference in what you're saying. And it's so funny because I wonder if what she's saying, does she have a defined spleen?
Yes.
I wonder if what she's trying to say is that she wants people to realize that she cares. Like, and if she's not aware that they know she cares because she does. Like I wonder if it's something like that because I notice splenic people, they will be trying to care. And like I will get that so mixed up with like friendship, experiential journey, like all of these emotional, but it's like there is this nurturing thing in the spleen. And it's almost like if people don't realize that's what you're trying to do, the defined spleen is being like gaslit or something.
I don't know how you got that from what I said, but I think that you're accurate. I can remember something happening actually with Lawrence, who is defined spleen, open emotion. And I often think he doesn't care about me. And I must have said something at one point. He's like, how could you possibly say that? I've helped you out so many times, but it was always splenic help. Like he paid
Yeah.
for something or something about my survival, but that's not what I cognate as caring. What I
Right.
cognate as caring is caring about my feelings, and he doesn't.
Yes,
That
that's
would be
so
Polly as well, except for sometimes because 55 is her son, so she's like periodically. That's another one. It's like 70% of her is emotional in an open emotional center. It's a very bizarre thing to watch. I mean, there's Steve, right? 70% of him is root in an open root.
Mhm.
I mean, it's another one. It's just it's these bizarre contradictions that we walk around in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like once you start boiling into that, like I really love looking at people's open centers because that's where all of the stuff on top of your definition is. Like everything that's not allowing your definition is in your open centers. So it's like, okay, if Steve is having these like heart things and these reassurance things, like if we wanted to start with this completely open center, maybe we could be like, is he looking for reassurance about the things that he does or what he thinks he should, could, would do, like the pressure to do, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's what would be hurting his heart and not allowing his will to function as it should. So it's like if we can just narrow in there and make sure that you're not doing any of these open center themes, then we can get your heart center to start coming out and then we can all learn about it.
Mhm.
I think that's spot on, particularly with Steve, because he has so much of that pressure to get something done going rather than waiting till the heart has the impulse to do it. Is that change? Is he there? Is that changing at all, Stephen? I'm wondering if that's changing at all now that you've retired. Are you able to listen to the impulse of your heart moving towards something rather than the pressure of your open root telling you better get something done?
Is this a trick question?
It was not a trick question, but it was a lot of words. You want me to say it again?
Can you want to meet Lacey?
Oh, come meet Lacey. You have the same.
Lacey, where are you?
thing,
Which
you're
one?
both ego
Oh,
manifest.
I know that one. I know
You
that
have to-
one. Hi, Lacey.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
You're
Oh,
both
but
ego manifestors and you have the same 3 centers, but different channels.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
Uh-huh.
And you've been listening.
Right. Off and on. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what everything has been said, but I did hear what you just said. I heard the question that you
Do
just asked
you
me.
have an answer or not?
That's something I would really like to tease apart more inside myself. I can't give a definitive answer as to what rules, but I think I am listening more to my heart than the pressure because I have like what 40, 50% of my life back to me from my job. So that's going to be so I believe that's what's happening.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were just talking about that this morning,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fantastic. I'm happy to hear it and I'm on your cheerleader squad.
Yeah.
No.
And so to live with a defined ego person, I have to be aware of my own self. When he wants to do something, 'cause he's also defined in his G center. Am I going along? It makes me learn about myself. Am I trying to respond from a place of transference because I'm fearful that I'm not going to be able to give him what he needs, or he's going to be disappointed, or it's going to turn into something I don't, whatever. But I am curious about the balance between a healthy ego being fed and also them being autonomous with it rather than depending upon other people to feed it.
Yeah, it's so good for me to hear about his experiences and really anybody with a defined heart because I think allowing the heart is just as hard as allowing the emotions. Like I think I've done like a miracle for my husband as an emotional person, and he's also doing that for me as like a defined ego. These are the 2 hardest like open center themes. And for him to be himself, I can't be in my not self emotional center. And for me to be myself, he can't be in his not self heart center. And so it's like, as we start coming into the correctness in our relationships, yes, like we can learn about our own themes just because we're watching. Like we're watching them, we're watching ourselves, we're open to learning. And I think that's so magical.
It is magical. So where you're open, they always say there's the wisdom. So if you're not in your not self in your open center, you have the wisdom to give the person who's defined, who is just that. Sometimes it's hard to see because you're in it, Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. You have lots of opportunities with me.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
You have so many opportunities that last you the rest of all your lifetimes.
Have opportunities to have opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where I come into balance is I am a 2-4, so I'm very self-absorbed, and Steve is 6-2, and he's looking out to the other. That he's teaching me like, hey, there is a certain sensitivity that I need, right? So I just can't be a bull in a china shop. I really have to actually be more precise on how I move through the china shop if I want china, if I want the fine boned, if I want bone china, then I can't do anything I want as a self-absorbed person.
Right.
So he's taught me that, because I'm surprised how sensitive the ego can be. He's taught me to be sensitive and not just say anything I want to say, even though I still do that. Yeah.
I don't know if that's from the 2-4 perspective.
You don't?
Well,
I'm self-absorbed and I can hardly know that even though I'm a projector, it's hard for me to know the other person's there.
really?
It takes time for me to, in the fourth line too, just to see what's under the hood, just layer at a time. It's not instant. Even though my intuition or my instinct is instant in a sense. But it shows me, okay, I'll invest more. I'll invest more. I'll keep investing because it's
And
the investment, but it's not instant.
investing in what?
Person, time or friendship or a relationship or somebody who wants some HD from me. Do I want to invest that energy into them? What can I give them? And then I get into transference of like, I'm just going to burden them with all this information that's I and experience, and they're not going to get any of it because I went too far. So I don't do anything. Well, that's not true, but that's how my open ego sees it. But
I'm thinking about all of that within the terms of being the lower trigram, which I also am, which Lacey also is, and I'm not really relating to it. So I'm not sure if I'm just still a bull in a china shop or if it's coming from something else.
Yeah, it's so interesting that I'm a lower trigram and like the whole 1/3 and not any like transpersonalness and all that stuff. Like that's something I kind of attempt to watch and like, am I able to communicate with people? Like that might be just like a total like 1/3 issue. And maybe it's supposed to go through the 2/5 and then it's supposed to go to the 6/3 or whatever, and it's like I can't just communicate to anybody necessarily.
I don't know about that because Tolly's a 1/3 and she trains people in communication. So I
Yeah,
don't
so it's
think the
like she's
1/3
an
thing.
excellent communicator. So then to look at the keynotes and stuff where it talks about like 1/3s not being the best communicators, like that's so interesting.
Yeah, she's a great communicator.
I guess where
But
I
on
would,
the other hand, she strategizes it also. Hold on one sec, Lily. She does have a strategic mind and she strategizes doing all that stuff she does. I think that's different than just having a conversation. But
Yeah.
conversation she's good at too. But that all I know is if she's good with me, and I've known her whole life, and we have our own form of communication, so I wouldn't know
Yeah.
how she's doing that with anybody else. Now, I know that her husband, who's a 5'1", no, I actually think he's a 6'2". I'm going to say he's a 6'2", but he's transpersonal. He calls her to task on how she is behaving with him, which I think is great for her. Like, no, you don't. I know you're really stressed out, but you don't actually have to take that out on me.
Yeah.
And so I think that might be the thing that you're talking about, Lily, is we're just so in our own world, we're not even aware that me going rah, rah, is affecting the person next to me.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
and that's really what probably the punch of what I said for
Okay.
sure. And what it does is it teaches me experiential that I can share with others, that I learned that there's another person that might be more sensitive than what I picked up on.
Right. As i.e. Stephen with his ego, which we think is so strong and impermeable, which it actually is not at all. Hearts are tender.
Yeah.
I think that's something that Sebastian, who was a 5'1", my ex-husband, I think that's something he saw in me, which he found really aggravating. We didn't have any terminology for it at the time, but I think that's something that he didn't like about me, is that I wasn't aware of, like, my tone of voice was affecting you know, whoever I just ordered my sandwich from or something.
Yeah. And over the years, I was always kind of like, Steve's got the 51, but he kind of shocked me into like, really? You took it that personal? I don't understand. Just let me be as blunt as I want to be, and don't take it personal. That's what I want. But that's not going to happen all the time.
I really like it when you're blunt.
Well, and maybe that's an open emotion thing, you know, because it's like I can't be avoiding confrontation and truth when my husband is defined emotional authority. It doesn't work. You know, if I'm avoiding something, he can't allow his clarity to function, you know, and it's like then we're just sitting there not communicating at all because someone's refusing to see reality. So it's like that's the emotions are just as hard as the heart to me. Like I think heart's number one and emotions are number two. But it's like to even start somebody on that journey of being like, do I avoid the truth? Like, what is the truth? Like, oh my gosh, if that's not the epitome of like the dark night spiritual journey, I don't know what is.
Steve's going, you're going, oh my God.
Yeah, right. Like it's a trip to watch yourself and attempt to not avoid the truth because that's like its own question in itself.
Yeah. And I like the way you said that, if I heard correctly, that a relationship can't function if the other one is in their not self, open ego or open emotional, because that's what Steve and I are.
Right. So you have the same dynamic that Lacey and her husband have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it alienates the person is alone within the relationship. There's no connection.
Yeah.
If that person is in their not self.
Because
Yeah.
not only is it that, I mean, it's an added feature because if Steve is avoiding truth and conflict with you, it doesn't allow that clarity of your authority.
Yes.
Your inner authority is being whatever happens to you when he and his inner authority. It's the same with Lacey and Stephen because they both have ego as their inner authority. So when you're getting into your trip or her husband's getting into his trip, it not only is aggravating because you have this thing, you know, open versus defined center, that's their inner authority. So we're
Yeah.
not only talking about these two really intense, profound, powerful centers, we're talking about the inner authority of two people who the other one has open.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Shutting down their inner authority, like
Right.
literally.
So you
I
shut
watch-
down your inner authority because I don't feel good right now around it.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Then that can send either Steve or whoever, whatever end it's coming from, into their not self then.
Right. And then we get cut off, and then our mind rushes in to try and make the decision because it wants to help.
Wants to help.
And that never works.
It never
And that
works.
never works. That's right, Steve.
But you know, what's the definition of insanity, right? So yeah. And so if I hold back my feelings, now we're talking about now consciously, more like I'm more developed than I was in our earlier years. And I could see where it was more toxic and all that stuff. But if I'm used to holding back because of his sensitivity, what my perceived sensitivity, or he can't handle it, I'll hold back. And I will avoid not so much truth or confrontation, but I will avoid sharing because it doesn't land. My not self would say it's not right, or it's not good, or
I'm too much for people. They won't
My
like me. They'll
ego
reject me.
Yeah. I'm not enough. I got to try better. I got to be clearer. I got to do this instead of, and it does work at different times where I could just say it out loud so I can recognize my feelings.
I was
And
just
he's
gonna
not
say.
taking it personally.
Yeah.
And I'm so appreciative of that. when that can happen. Now, how would it be reversed? How would it be reversed with a defined ego and an open ego?
Well, so I, as an open ego, can go into not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, and then trying to get all the attention. Of course, I also have an open throat. I think my open ego runs to my open throat or vice versa. Your open ego can run to your identity a lot, Lily.
Yeah.
You've seen
Okay.
that happen. And so instead of like, what does so the defined emotion, depending on what channel is there, looks for something from the other naturally, if we're in relationship with someone, um, to possibly support, empower, or share to get clarity.
Yeah.
So your defined emotion, Lily, needs to recognize its feelings. And since it's unconscious, it really needs to recognize its feelings. And there's a process that you would naturally go through, and it might be talking it out or, the things. And if Steve just is getting his feelings hurt and wanting to not hear how you're upset about something, then that would put a kibosh on that. Now, what is the process? And I, as an emotional person, I'm tribal, so I want to connect with my people and work through something with someone often to help me get clarity. So that would be the other side. That. What does the open or the defined ego authority, heart authority, is there a process that it goes through that we would try and preempt or put a kibosh on to stop them because we're uncomfortable in our
Mhm.
own sense of worthiness? That's a question for Lacey and Stephen. Like, is there a process? Does the heart center just get clear one day or whatever that would be called? Or is there something that processes?
I think the Heart Center is such an a mystery to me because all of the gates are so different. Everybody I've ever met with the Defined Heart Center is so different than me specifically. And that might just be my 2551. So it's like, it's such a crazy center because depending on what's defined or not, depending on what open center somebody else might have, like, I think I'm just now getting to the point where I can tell when somebody's doing that to me. And maybe I
Doing,
could tell,
doing what to
like,
you?
stopping my authority.
Trying to stop their.
Yeah. And it's like maybe the first place I could tell when someone was stopping my authority was like in the spleen, but like I think I've had to go on a journey with each one. Like my website team, I got to see that people could run into their open crown and stop my willpower from manifesting. And then when I'm telling them that that's what they're doing, like they're not even open to considering that they could be doing that. It's like they get so mad and defensive and then nothing ever manifests. So it didn't go anywhere. And so like I would watch them run to this one open center. And it's like that I think that's why it's so hard for me to know when it's happening to me because they can run to all these different open centers and they can be using inspiration. And I'm there with my open crown, like, oh my gosh, yeah, what you're saying is so much more inspiring than my authority and what it wants to do. It's like I can just get lost in their shit. And like I've had to learn how to like honor that authority over all of the places that they can run to just not allow it.
So would you possibly say, would this play into that in order for you to be connected with your heart authority, your ego, your will, I'll call it your will, because the will is what's going to go forward. Do you need to shock?
The thing is like,
Even just little zing, zing,
does
zing.
it? But
Just,
does it? Like I don't even know if it does. Like I
oh,
don't
you
know if,
shock me.
yeah, it's like somebody can, like you guys, I think you guys see me like more for who I am than really anybody else besides my husband. It's like if that website team just banded together to see me as a stupid little girl, they don't have to be shocked by me. You know, their perception is going to make me into somebody that's not able to shock them, that has nothing valuable to say. You know, it's like, so my
Or
definition
you do shock them and they
run.
downplay your worth because they're shocked and they don't like it.
Yeah, like it's something like that. And it's so hard for me to recognize. And it's like, I need to be able to recognize it.
I think there might be something in this because the only thing you have in your ego is that 51. It's connected to the 25. So that's how your willpower is going to be able to move forward is through shock and innocence.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine, and this is based on what I'm imagining now because of what I just said, but also in remembering what you have said about, you know, when you were going through that whole horrible process with those horrible, horrible people. I can say that, is that I think you shocked them. I think you brought things to the table, and I think it was shock that needed to clear away the bullshit that was being put on the table. But because they weren't able to look at, feel, acknowledge, recognize, whatever, that there was just bullshit being put in a process that was unnecessary, they couldn't let that shock just clear it off the table.
Yeah.
And that's when you finally had to let it go because that I think that's what you do. I think you go, "Hmm," and then like the electricity just clears something out of the way, and then something can be clear.
Yeah.
But if you can't, if you have no ability, capacity, or desire to be shocked in order to see true, then they're not going to be your people.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's so amazing because, okay, like when you think about the process, like I told them, if we miss another deadline, I'm out. And then we missed the deadline and I was out. I did exactly what I said I was going to
I
do.
love that so much.
They told me, well, you just take your toys and you go whatever you're going to do. And I was like, no, like I'm going to let you guys keep the website because I think it's important and I want people to have this. So you just take all this work that I've done over the year and I really hope that you guys can make this happen. And then I left and then I built my own fucking website, which they told me I couldn't, wouldn't, shouldn't do. They have not built that website. None of them are posting online because they're all isolated and alone because they're afraid to be shocked. That's what it is.
Be shocked. Yeah. They couldn't withstand the shock. And you know, life has shock in it. It just does. And
Yeah.
I think the shock is what clears the electrical system. You know, like you think of putting your hand on a piece of metal and it shocks you, it's like it goes, and it's like something gets cleared. It's scary.
It's like the defibrillators, you know.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Um,
right. That's right. So if we think of, were you going to say something more, Lily?
um, go ahead.
Well, I was going to look at Steve because Steve also has the shocky thing, but his authority is connected to the control to the king, the 21 to the 45. And so what would be the process? I don't know if process isn't the right word because that's such an emotional word, that's such a experiential word, but what would be
Well,
the
come
ingredient,
against his,
huh?
what would come against his will, you mean, like try to kibosh
Well,
it,
what
or
does his will need in order to get lined up so that the arrow is pointing toward where the will wants to go? It would have something to do with the 21, 51, and the 45. You know, one thing that
So
I heard,
hard.
huh?
That's so hard because they're literally a fork in the road. It's like you go through that
No, it's
3740,
those,
you
yeah.
make a choice. I don't think you get to do both, you know, it's like you're going towards I have, or you're going towards destroying that I. So it's like having both of those things is so crazy to me.
Well, if I look at my experience of Stephen, is he there? Can he hear us?
I'm listening to all of this.
Okay.
This is
Okay, good. If I look at my experience, and I haven't thought of this before, so we'll see what I'm about to say. I would say that you shock a little bit along the way. You're not like a big shocker, but you bring shock in, and I find it most of the time uplifting. Like it just kind of clears something, and then the space is clearer. What I hear a lot that comes out of your mouth is the I have. And so I'm wondering if something has to be put in place that you have control of in order for your will to go forward. And I invite you, Lily, if you see anything about that, and also you, Stephen. Did you fall asleep, Hanale? Oh,
No, I had a shower and I'm really tired though.
okay, you just look a little sleepy.
hi, Hanalei.
It's her birthday today.
Hi.
Happy birthday.
Mhm.
I just want to let you know I'm here, because I didn't know. So, hi.
Hi.
She looks like she just had a shower.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I'm curious what's come up is for the manifester, the whatever gates or channels they have, they're informing how that
That's a point.
how important that is for the natural, not natural, but the honesty of your definition, how that will come out through informing. So Steve's informing could be I have and I control, I shock, whatever. And Lacey's, yours is I shock, and what would be the other one? I take you down into the dark.
Contribute.
What I don't hear a lot is about the strategy, of informing and how that can open up that ego.
Yeah, but the thing is that informing and ego don't go together. You can have a manifester that needs to inform that doesn't have an ego.
You're right, but I just wondered the quality of how you're already designed, like through
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Steve. Yeah, that's what I meant as far as when I heard your story about the group of people with the website and stuff, and you came to a point, and I don't know the whole process of like one more delay, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's informing. It's very clear. A little shocking, but you didn't suffer from it.
Right.
know?
Well, probably a little.
Yeah, it's like the amount of time it took me to get to that place would be like the suffering investment. But I don't know. Like if it's like I've seen that pattern so many times. It's just like gymnastics when I'm telling everybody I'm hurt and no one's hearing me. And that time I was just too young to leave. Like there was no me being like, all right, well, I'm out now, because I was a kid. And I had nationals coming up and they're like, nationals is next week. Get your ass back on the balance beam. It's like there was no way out of that. But it's like this time there was a way out. And what I saw from that gymnastics thing is that all of my coaches had a crisis. They all got shocked in the end, because they didn't hear me the whole time I told them. And then my spine is fractured and I can never do gymnastics again. And that's a shock. Like that might be the shock being delivered. Like it might never have been needed to be delivered through me. And so me walking away, building new website, them not being able to do anything, everything that I said ended up happening. That could be the shock. Like that could be the manifestation of
Candace.
the thing, and that could be the thing that initiates them into crisis. Like, and so I really don't know. Like, it could be doing exactly what it does, and I just kind of like watch it and attempt to learn. And what I told the website people at the beginning of that experience is that I'm really just in the experience for the other people. So it's like I want to support and empower them. I want to, move together, do things together. And I'm just like focused on the other people the whole time. So if that's true, when I'm saying these things and I'm like, hey, there's a communication issue. Like if you were in that experience for the people, you would hear me say that. You're not there about the people. You're not there about yourself. You're there chasing some thought dream. And that's why it's not working. It's like that's what the not self does. It totally misses what's right in front of it because it's thinking about what it could, should, would get.
Yeah, I've been there.
So can you identify in these two instances, in the one where you ended up with the fractured spine because you didn't follow your will, let's just say that,
Yeah.
because you knew that you shouldn't, but no choice. And on the other, where you were about to be fractured by these stupid people who weren't, moving forward with you, can you identify the point at which, in the one instance, you knew what your will would say, but you didn't do it, and in the other one you did? Is there any body sensation with that? Is there anything that you can identify about that?
Yeah, it's like it's really crazy to me because I know both of my channels are conscious, but when I'm sitting there and I hear myself say, if there's one more delay, I'm out. I'm learning that with you. And I'm like, fuck, I just said that because, my divine heart is going to do that, like no matter what. So now I'm also very sad and I'm just praying to God that you do it so that I don't have to do what I said, and so it's like it surprises me and controls me.
So you're the one that gets the shock the most.
Yes, like I'm shocked. I feel like I get so shocked. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
What had just happened? Yeah.
Yeah, I've often thought about that. The shock value would be for the person who holds the actual
Yeah.
definition of the gate as well.
So I'm curious at this point if you went through that whole thing and it was intense. I remember. I was witness and I remember what you went through because you put so much energy and so much attention and so much planning and considering and creativity and all of that into that website. And then so much was just so frustrating for quite a while.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah, there was a long time where you just really kept hanging in there. And now you have the new website, and now, we have our book on there and you're doing things. I'm curious if there's anything that you would like this group to do for or on or with your website that we could put some juice in there.
Yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. Like we could be as planny or not planny, spontaneous. Like I told Lily if she ever wrote something that she wanted published somewhere, she could just send it to me and I could put it up as a blog, so it's like
Well, I know
whatever
we can
right.
do like I could do, you could do, but I'm wondering if there's something you would like us to do as a group that you would like to access this group for. You don't have to know right now, or you might.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sit on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool.
you.
Like yesterday was a really magical day for me because when my mind shattered, I immediately started seeing all the past lives and the planet stuff. And the person that I talked to a lot about that was Chai. And instead of just creating a website and putting it online, I just didn't, like I just went through time and time and time and then finally last year we're finally doing the website and it didn't work, and then last night like I watched myself finish the bases PDF and I've never finished that before and I've never understood why. And I watched myself finish it and I added a bunch of raw quotes to the bases page and it's all there, like all my weird, crazy shit. And it was just like, wow, like I could have done this in like 2019, but I didn't. So it's like this point in time right now is really wild because I'm finally doing what I want to do and I'm finally sharing what I see. It just took so long to get to this point in time. It's like I feel really good about where we're all at and the fact that you guys are still in my life, because something could have happened and it could have been like the website people where I got separated but for some reason like here we are and I'm really happy with the way things are.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting it out there and this is coming from me. I haven't talked about it, that if you would like to access us as a group
Okay.
for
Yeah, I'll
something
think
for the
about
website that we could produce, I think we have an amazing opportunity here because there's a website that's there.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
And like
gonna
I said,
I'm gonna work on the Liberation Through Limitation book and see if I can get that together and we could do that.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, like if you and Hanale go to do a class in a couple months, you can send me the information and I can put it on there. So all of that, anything that seems relevant or we can
If
do whatever we
if
want.
I thought I had found someone, but she kind of just disappeared. If there is someone that anyone knows that would like to go through the audios that I have made for the classes and edit them so that they could be just made public content or we could sell them, I would love that. I don't have it in me to do that. That's like 3 stages of hell for me.
Yeah.
If there's someone who wanted to like learn from them and do this in exchange, that would be fantastic. So if you know anyone who has that skill
Okay.
and that desire.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
maybe things will start moving now. It's like now that I've done that basis page, I don't even know how to think about the future. It's like I feel like everything for 7 years has led to me doing
Has
this.
begun.
Yeah, right. So now I'm like, yeah, what could we do if we like tapped the class and
Right.
So it's like I feel like for the first time in a very long time, maybe there's like new things that are about to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I spoke to Steve and Kiera and myself. When you said you are welcome to put something on there, just send me something or um, uh, I still feel the excitement, but when I go to do it, I don't know if it's that second line, I'm thinking, is this clear enough? And will she tell me, will you tell me the truth that this isn't quite what I was talking about? That's that's where I get fucked up or hung up. But I
Well,
love that manifestor energy. I write Steve's manifestor coattails all the time, which I love. And I love that invitation from you. I just want to inform you about that.
yeah, and I love that. I have another friend who I've extended the same thing to her, and she finally sent me something, and it was just very much her not self. And I was like, hey, like I would love to like get together and write a blog, or like you could write a blog or whatever. But I was like, I think the main thing about the website is it's about just being honest about what's happening now. It's not about avoiding confrontation and truth. It's not about, I hope, like hers was so like New Year's resolutions, like, and get out there and do whatever the fuck you want to do and all this shit. And it's just like, so I just told her, I just don't think this is like shifty. I don't think this is where we're going. I think that people are feeling very limited and like scarce and that things aren't happening like they've been used to them happening. So it's like, I tried to just meet her where she was at and explain maybe what we could do or what we could look for. But like, I would never shut you down. Like I would want us to like work together to like, let's say you brought me an article and it was like that. Like, I'd be like, okay, so do you want to work together to take this
To another
a
level.
place more in the middle. Yeah. And then we could maybe dissect a couple sentences or like add another paragraph where we hammer onto a point, but it's like it could be very creative and flowy and there doesn't have to be any wrongs, you know. It's like we can just aim to win together, to create wins. This blog's a win, let's put it up, you know. But this information needs to be organized, let's do that. Like, and if we do that, I think we can just have fun.
That's a beautiful ego thing to say. I love it.
Yeah.
Win. What's your view?
Power.
Oh, so Steve's is too. So I love that view. And I appreciate that. So what I think what I hear you saying, the foundational aspect of it, just the flavor of it, is to have either a dialogue or a working back and forth with something that is more like when you share with somebody, it's personal, but it's also for more of a universality to it, where people can maybe identify with a part of it or not. I like that. You know, I like hearing about what the foundational aspect of this, the reason this website was created, I guess.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's all about the shift. It's all about how the neutrino streams are changing and how, you know, we could be a successful business without feeling anything 10 years ago. But where we're going, we're going to have to feel things. You know, it's like, it's about just being honest with what we're all going through and how we're all experiencing these changes and how we don't know what it's going to look like. And that would be one of the only true sources of true information, you know, on the internet, because nobody is like recognizing that it's happening, but we all need help with the fact that it's happening.
Yeah.
Helping people find their inner authority because that's what they need, you know, and being very clear about what that is and what that looks like. Like you guys helped me get clarity on what my authority looks like. Like today was so fucking good. And it's like even what my husband's emotional authority looks like the more clarity that we can get on those things, the more we can see it in others and share it with others and actually be like a source of people who take people to authority versus just mentally condition them.
Yes. So the stories about a process you went through and you can point to a channel or open how you get through to a clarity about how do you link the actual experiential process and it becomes alive in your life. That's
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, let me think on all of this too. This is really inspiring to me. I feel so good right now.
Yeah, I could feel that.
Yeah.
I like that. You know, being a projector, I do need energy to
Yeah.
tap into the energy to actually spark the flames, so to speak. Um, oh,
Yeah,
that's
and maybe we're getting there. Like maybe we're all about to start flowing together in some like creation process because I think it could be really simple. It just hasn't been allowed yet. Like the time, it hasn't been time yet. And seeing me do that page yesterday, I'm like, okay, it's time for something.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I thought he
Well,
was already here. It's my kids.
It seems to me that this group could be utilized.
Yeah.
We have been bringing our outer authority to one another for quite a while now, and if there's someone that wants to like take us and use us, but
Well, it's
I'm
crazy.
not strategic enough to know what to do. I've tried, but I haven't succeeded in it.
You guys talking about this past life stuff and all this stuff, like, you know, the fact that I'm with you guys, like I see myself as a planet person and you guys are like planet people. And to me, all planet people is a group of people who continues sharing the mechanical information. And Raw was one of those people. Like maybe Raw was like the first person. And then there's other people that are involved in like sharing this because Earth wants it and all of the material things they want it. That's where we're going. And so like I do see you guys as that. I see you guys as the people who are here to do this and share this, and like we're here to do it together. And I see the website people as that too. You know, like something could happen and they could come back around and I might create something with them. But it's like I don't know what any of that means or what we will create, but I see you guys as that.
Yeah, we're all evolving. It seems like there's like Tiara's 4 ways. I think there's a 4 ways coming up or something. Yeah. You know, to do something with the group dynamic, you know, the synthesis of everyone, it will help for me, I can say, to see us in a way that you can't because we're so in a bubble within the class or the meetings. Just the other day I was we had a meeting with these women that I've been involved with for 35 years, 2 or 3 times a year, and we've built something, but we can't quite see it now. And so we talked about going out as a group, being seen. What would that look like? What is it that we're offering, as a synthesis of many parts? And so I'm looking at this group, it's like, wow, what would that look like to be exposed, I guess, so to speak? And I like the idea. And so we were all talking of these women when we're gathering in the summer, there's going to be this festival that's nearby, and it's art and culture and just music and everything. And so we all decided we're going to go out as these elder women and see what it feels like, what's emanating off of us individually and as a group. And that's
What does
kind of
that mean? You're going to go out?
we're going to actually physically go out and walk a festival where it's all
So you're just going to attend. You're not going to offer a.
but we're not going to offer at
I
this
see.
point.
Okay.
Just so we could, because we're going like, well, where are we now? Because the person that gathered us together passed away. Now
Right.
we're getting our own identity. It's more so. And so maybe that's what's up, is to be seen more, I guess.
You know, there's something so weird happening too. And this is something I try to explain. I know it's shifty, but it's like where we were, marketing worked some way. And when I had mental anxiety, I would go to a doctor and maybe I could get like a mental anxiety medication. It's like I went to this person, they're like, this is what's wrong with you, take this, it's fine. I paid that person for an answer. That's how they make their income. And where we're going with everybody having to be their own authority, I think we're going to have to redefine marketing and how we're going to make money, because it's no longer going to look authentic for me to make money by giving you an answer. Like people are going to go to the therapist and they're going to take this medication and it's going to hurt them. And they're going to try this one, it's going to hurt them. And they're going to try this one, it's going to hurt them, until they finally have their own authority or not to make a different decision. Right. So it's like marketing worked like that, where I could sell an answer. I could put the script into an AI program and it could write it even better and make it sound even more enticing. But it's like now that we're all starting to get our answers from ourselves and we're breaking this bargain, everybody's looking at themselves like, what do I have to offer? Like, how do I market my services? How do I describe what I do? And I think that's part of the weird place that we're like pinched in collectively. We don't know what money making and working together is going to look like when we're coming from a place of inner authority.
Yeah.
And I'm really relieved about that, because the other one never worked for me. I've been trying a long time with zero result.
So
That's good. That's good that something else is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if it's hard for us to define ourselves right now, I think it's just because that's where we're at.
It's been hard for me to define myself forever. I've never been able to define myself. And people have said to me, "This is so amazing, Tiara. You have to market yourself." And I say, "Could you just tell a couple of people what I've done?" And they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't know how to talk about it."
Yes. Like, can you just
But
share what
that's
I've
my
done?
whole life. That's not recent. Recent
Yeah.
is probably easier.
Well, and if it's never worked for you, then hopefully where we're going,
I
it
know.
works
That's what
for
I'm
you,
saying.
you know?
I could be on
Yeah.
the other side now.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, just one simple change of moving from like 11 to 17. Like we're moving from the teacher, the gate of ideas being like the education theme to opinions and organization being the education theme. And something I've watched myself do is look at these systems and be like, this is a shit show. Nobody can find any information anywhere, da, da, da. And I'll start organizing it. Like I'll make a website and start organizing CBD information or human design or whatever. And it's like, that's going to be valuable. But I don't think that where we were, that was necessarily seen as valuable. So it's like when our viewpoints are changing so much right now and things that were never valuable are going to be valuable. It's like, what is worthy? Back to like the classic open heart question, like what is going to be worthy where we're going and what will people need so that we can exchange money and continue to survive?
Yeah.
Do you happen to know of an app or a something that can transcribe a video into words?
A video.
Are you looking to caption a video?
No, I'm looking to take all these videos and just put them in words. Like the other day, I'll ask Jan, but the other day I answered one of Jan's questions in words on, audio, and he sent me back the words I had said, and I'm like, that's really cool. I like those words. It just came out of me. But I'm like, I have all these videos. I probably have a few hundred videos of classes I've taught. Maybe instead of having someone edit the videos, I should just put them into words that people could read.
Yeah. I'm sure there's programs out there. I could look into it.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll get a couple and I'll send them to you today. Yeah, and I have to go. The boy's friend is here and they're over there being a
This was
wreck.
good. We didn't do what I was thinking of doing, but this was really good. I
It was
liked it.
super good. And I even did my detriments and exalts on that little chart.
You did?
So we will have to talk about that sometime because mine's so confusing being the channel. Like it's my 2551 and both are in detriment and it's a channel.
Detriment. But this isn't about that. We're going to go more into that because I'm still really interested in deconstructing that more. This was just looking at if you have it in detriment, what planet is making it in detriment?
Okay, and that's all you wanted.
That's all we were looking at.
Okay.
This is something that Lily found somewhere, and I wish you could know where that came from, Lily, because I'd like to find that out if
You
you can.
might have copied and pasted it, and there might be more information that way.
Yeah, even if you can find who posted it, and then we can ask them, where did this come from? Because I was thinking about that today. So it's just to find out which planets are actually making the most impact. So what I found out for me is that Sun, Mars, and Venus. And then when I put Chiron in there, it upped the Mars and Venus to 6, and the Sun is still at 5. And what were the ones you found, Lily, that were so strong?
Mine are the moon and Neptune.
Yeah, and so that it's something, especially for we planet people, to
Yeah.
take a look at what are the planets that are really like fixing us in certain directions, whether it's exaltation or detriment.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's Mercury and Mars.
There you go.
Yeah, very cool.
So Mercury is communication and Mars is mutation.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And so, communication has been fraught, but it's coming clearer for you now,
It is. It's so
right?
exciting. Yes.
That mutative quality is what you bring.
Yeah.
I felt for the moon and Neptune, I don't know how true this is, but I feel kind of hidden, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that
veiled.
Neptune thing. Yeah.
And I've had images of like that, like along the side of a trail, next to a tree, like in my little eyes, my little sparkly bows, like to discover me, type of thing.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm such a treat. I'm such a present, you know.
but
And
I'm hidden, I'm veiled. You have to find me.
you have to find me, but at the same time, it's like, what? Do I just sit here? Nothing? Yeah.
Lily, I found you.
Yes, you
Actually, Steve found you and he showed me you.
did fetch. Yes.
Yeah, he fetched me to you.
Well, and truly, as we go more and more through time and we see more and more correct projectors, we're gonna get to see what you guys are treated like when you have correct people around you. Because if we're supposed to be treating you guys like these precious little gems, we don't. And we don't let you guide, and we don't care about anything you have to say because you don't have a sacral and you're not responding to me. And it's like we don't even know, you know? And so it's like I think it's almost like romantic that you've got this life where you are a little hidden away. Like it I kind of feel like that too, you know, and maybe it's a symptom of your correctness.
I something that I would like to bring out, and one thing that I would love to do is just do interviews with people and bring these things up. Um, One thing that I think is really important is the whole concept of guidance, because I think people think it's advice, and guidance is
Yeah.
not advice. It's about guiding energy. It's not about telling someone what to do
Right.
or advising them how to do it. It's actually seeing how energy operates and assisting that energy in operating correctly. I mean, that's what I see.
It's like I feel like a correct projector is in front of you. Okay, a correct projector is in front of me, and they're not telling me who I am. They are open to discovering who I am with me. And in that, they will go on that discovery. And I can go with them. If they're actually discovering me, I'll go with them and I'll let them uncover all of those things and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
it will be like a magical adventure. But if they're telling me, we can never start the journey of them beginning to guide. You
Yeah.
know, it's like we have to stop telling before we can even get in that mode where we're looking at each other like with wonder versus, oh, I know everything about you. Like, pay me for my solution. You know, it's like it's two different ways of being.
And the first one does not go, I mean, the second one does not go over well. I think you
Mm-mm.
put that beautifully. Yeah. I'll let you uncover me if you actually want to get to know me. If you're just here to tell me what to do, no, because it goes too deep. That's the thing about projectors that I don't know that projectors understand unless they've hung out with other projectors, is that it goes right into the deepest part of you, whatever they're doing. So it's not just a little hug from a generator or, being repelled by a manifester. It's like it goes right in. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous to let a projector in because they can fuck with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
it's
I,
about us seeing what that looks like.
Yeah.
it's for the
You
other,
know, I really think projectors should be very reticent. They're all like hungry. See me so I can guide you. It's like that there's so much danger there. Run away from us until we really want you.
run away. And I got an image of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like us coming into clarity if clarity and certainty are two different things, we are all desperately looking for clarity, because a generator's certainty will stop them from letting a projector discover within them, and then a projector's certainty will stop themselves from ever beginning to discover the sacral in front of them. So it's like, as we stop needing certainty to exist in our everyday life, like, we're all going to get to learn so much. We're going to get to become clear.
Yeah.
To be comfortable enough with uncertainty to, not to let it ruin your life, I guess, or obsess your life.
Yeah.
It's
Constructive.
I mean, it's when I think about the projectors, where they're starting from, already adults, already new knowledge. Wow. But it's a lot less heavy if you can see that the other person already has it. They just need to discover it. That's not,
Right.
Right.
instead of taking the responsibility, that's heavy. And it's not possible.
That is so beautiful, because that is an open heart who knows worth. They know that they have it. They know that they have that thing, and they're not going to get it from me. They have it. And the best I could do is help them uncover that worth that's under there, or whatever that thing is, because it's like, that is it. Well, and when you're sitting in front of them needing to have all the answers for them, maybe you're not seeing yourself or them as worthy. Maybe that's like knowledge is power type stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, most definitely. I can see that on a personal level. Definitely.
Hmm.
But what that does then, when it's not successful, when there is like an angst or a bitterness or something, then the projector can learn about themselves. Like, in that moment, I was in my not self, and I can see that. But it's the whole thing is to still love yourself.
Yeah.
That and just go another way, or go deeper, or whatever, be open to something different. That's been the big part, I think, for projectors, is that they weren't successful because they didn't wait, or they didn't recognize that they weren't recognized, whatever. Not to be down on themselves, because then they can try again in a better place, in a better position of awareness that, oh, that's what it's like when I dump on somebody, that didn't ask for it, or they asked for something and I didn't give them what they asked for. Yeah. That's what I would want projectors to know. It's like, you fuck up, that's okay.
Yeah.
And the other types are going to go, stupid projectors, Jesus, quit penetrating me. Ah.
Projectors. I think you are unique, Lily, in what I have witnessed in your process, is that you have not only gone through your own process, but you have witnessed what being a projector is like. And I therefore think that you actually have a lot of awareness that you could offer to projectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If maybe just through blogging or through writing, because there's been no real call for it, so for me.
Well, maybe that's what we could do in this group. And I've said it before, but somehow me saying it doesn't make it happen, is that we could just start choosing themes that we are going to put on the website.
Yes. And I made
and
a page.
fuck us if we don't do very well, because I said we were going to do that, and we're going to do it because Lacey will do it.
Like, the page
I
is done.
don't do it. I don't produce the result, but Lacey can do it. She can
We
just
can start that any minute.
Okay, we'll do it.
What
So
did-
next time should we talk about projectors next time? Let's just start choosing a theme that we want to put some content out for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if we so let's say in the next class we recorded it, I could literally take that recording and I could edit it or not, but I could just like write a little thing about projectors, or put a raw quote about projectors, and it could just go on the HD Salon
just
page,
put it
and we could
out
just
there.
build a library. Yeah.
So
Yes.
what are some things, I can even put it out and I'll give people a couple of options. What are some options that we could choose?
Yeah. Well, like, are you talking about like
topic?
today, we talked about the defined ego with a defined emotional.
Yeah, it's like topics big right now. Like what I think everybody in the world should be thinking about is finding their authority. So like if we can like define authority, talk about each unique one, what we've seen it look like, what it feels like in ourselves, like that would be a great service. And we could do a video for each center that is an authority if we want. We could do one for open centers. We could do strategy. And basically, instead of just like regurgitating the same information over and over again, I would hope that we have new information from our own experiences and experiments that we can share. And that's like what the value would be.
I like that. One of the things I would like to go into as a projector, the authority of the generators, the wait to respond. I would really like more new information on that, experiential, and what that looks like. Open emotional to defined emotional, but what is that sacral doing in the response? How does that look? You know, the wait to respond. I'm still hungry for more about that.
Yeah, I
So I
love
can
that.
recognize
So
it.
it
Yeah.
would be nice if we had a couple sacral generators in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the generators we have right now,
Yeah, they're defined.
emotional. So maybe Jan could come in, maybe Lawrence would come in.
Yeah.
So that we'd have
Yeah.
the differentiation.
That's a good that would be a good resource if they would say yes, if they would respond. You could even begin to say, well, the way to respond for me to say to being on this video was, yeah. So I feel woefully, and this is odd, but I feel woefully like if I want to go down to my neighbor's and he is not defined emotionally, but he is a 3420, I want to give him like a better insight on what it is to wait to respond for a generator.
3420
And
though.
it's not, I mean, when you say wait to respond, I know that's the catchphrase, but it's wait for something to respond to. It's not you have something to respond to and then you wait. That's emotional. Do you see the difference I'm saying?
I definitely see the difference, but
Okay.
I want to tease that out more because just because you're responding doesn't mean you get to tell me something.
I'm telling you what, with that channel though, my husband and my son have this channel. And so often when we're watching it, the action happens and they don't even realize it. Like they might be able to respond to what they just did. You know, like my kid might look at something on a table and he has knocked it off and broke it before he even realizes that he knocked it off and broke it, because there's something about that channel, and it's the channel I see as Eve. You know, it's got this
Which
power.
channel?
2034. It's got this power. It is this place where thoughts become deeds. I'm like, what does that even mean? You know, like what are they even referring to as a thought? But something becomes deed and it manifests the fucking life. Like it is such a different sacral channel than any of the other ones to me in terms of response. Like I don't know if it responds. It's almost like it creates.
Well, that's something to really,
It responds. It responds, but responds and create is so quick.
It's crazy. Like to catch it, for him to go on the journey of catching it before he acts. My kid and my husband are on that journey, and I think it's a really crazy journey. I think it's really shocking for them to start to just even become aware of what they're going to do before they do it. It's shocking to them that they haven't been aware of what they're going to do before they do it.
Well, your husband's emotional. Is your kid? He's not.
He's completely
That's
open
very
emotion.
different. Yeah.
So a lot of the time, his can be so blurry because he's like so beyond clarity or the truth and it's so nice for him when someone watches what happened, when someone has seen it and they can help him and be like, I saw this happen. Like, because a lot of times it's almost like he doesn't even know what just happened. And, a kid's going to get their ass beat for that in 1975. So
Yeah.
it's just like, we haven't even began to allow this powerful, like, I feel like I'm trying so hard to watch and understand it. And it's so different than like the 515 and the way that a person with that is going to respond. It's like two different worlds.
Well, I love all that. And I'll reiterate, I want to go back to the actual surface basics and deepen into the wait to respond as opposed to somebody else, some other type.
Yeah, like we could do all the strategy basics. Like we could do a wait to be invited video. We could just like talk about each strategy and what that's looked like.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this though. I feel like this is where people always get really afraid. So I can do this just freeballing it. It's like, let's say that we decided next week we were going to talk about projectors and we all got together and we did that. That's one way. Another way is that we say we're going to do a video about projectors and then maybe we put together a bulleted list and we send that to the chat and we're like, these are the things we're specifically like you could get more strategic than just doing it on the fly. And I'm willing to do whatever makes everybody comfortable, because I feel like this part right here is so scary for people that we never actually get to do the thing.
Oh,
It's not scary for me. And if you would like to strategize some bullet points, I'm happy to have that. I don't know how to do that. So if you would like to bring something like that, that's fine with me. I can lead the group.
Okay.
The only thing that I'm afraid of is if I don't look pretty. So I'm going to look pretty. Like
Yeah.
today, I have no makeup on. I just took a shower. My hair was wet when I started, but as long as I'm pretty, I'm fine with whatever comes out of my mouth.
Okay, great.
Because
Yeah,
even
and
when something stupid comes out of my mouth, I can make fun of myself, and I find that funny. So,
yeah, it's like if anybody that's involved needs anything from me, I'd love to do that.
well,
Yeah.
I would love from you anything that you would like to create as a strategy or a structure. I'm
Okay.
very open to that. I work very well with structure. I just don't know how to create it.
I
Okay.
do.
And then if you put it together and put it on there, then it will happen because I do all this stuff and I never do anything with it. And I
Yeah.
feel bad about that.
All right, we'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
And I
like
think that's another way to just get people onto the website and start building some energy that people can see that there's a resource here for them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this was really good. Yeah, so I'll sit around and think and then I'll text you at some point in time.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay.
I
Okay,
like
I'm gonna get off here. I love you
Okay.
guys.
Mwah, love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Tomorrow's my form's birthday.
Ooh, happy birthday, Buddy. I
Um,
often forget about
I do
that.
too, but today Sean Collister, hers is today, and I went, oh, what is the date today?
Oh,
Mine's
so she posted something on it.
Yeah.
And cool.
so. So the writing, I'm just going to send her something, and she can do what she wants to with it. It may not be, it'll be as together as I can make it, but
I wish I could wave a magic wand and take away this fear that you have because I think it's silly and unfounded. And because it seems silly and unfounded, I find it aggravating that you don't just trust that you have something to say and say it. Because you're not going to do anything like what she was saying she doesn't want.
oh no. And when I heard her, when I asked her, I said, "You will tell me if this is in
And
alignment."
she said yes.
She said yes. That makes me feel really good.
Good. Then you feel like you have a like you have security in it, that you won't
I
be
can,
making a
try.
fool of yourself and no one told you.
Yeah, like you had toilet paper hanging out of your ass or something, you know. Um, and that helps me to just put it out there, and then because that's a really good way for any one of us, but I'll say for me to be able to see myself. So you can put it out there and then it turns back and go, oh, yeah.
Cool.
So, and with the group of women, I'm the one that was saying, hey, you know, we have to, if we're going to continue, let's just get clear on what it is that we're doing and what we want to put out there into the world now,
Yeah.
because it's changing. And so when we talked about just walking in public together, we don't do that. We're in a bubble like this class is. And I went,
It's like a theme. Okay, let's put ourselves out now.
yeah.
Interesting.
And that excited me for something different, you know,
Yeah.
and keeping the really nice core juicy stuff that we've already created.
Yeah. Cool. Can you see a
So,
difference in my face?
okay, it's real shy, the light is okay. Now sit back a little bit if you would, please. Okay, now go that way. Look to the, oh yeah, do the other way, please. I do. And from the, yeah. How was it?
Well, I got two things of Botox because the first one didn't hardly do anything. The first, she also did this and all those lines immediately just went away. I didn't have that much. That's not like my area, but I was like, oh, that looks really good. But I had to do this twice. And as you know, because I talked to you about it. And I would say another one because I didn't realize this was so deep, these, whatever those are called.
They're called marionette lines.
Um, and I've become more aware of how I hold my mouth that makes them. So now I'm like, just like letting it go open instead of, holding it tight, which is also good for my PHS because I'm supposed to be a mouth breather and I don't because I clench somehow. So I'm thrilled about it. I took a before and an after picture and it's pretty shocking, actually, the difference.
I like to see them. I went on the same vein. What is today? Sunday. I went on Thursday. Yeah, to the eye doctor that did the surgery.
Yeah.
He said, I'm coming along great. All the symptoms that I feel like I can still feel like the lines of the stitch, not stitches, but where he cut, he goes, that's all going to come back because I can still feel when I close my eyes, there's kind of numbness underneath. He said that will all come back. It might take 6 months, but he said you're doing great.
Excellent.
It's excellent is right. And the reason I was saying that is I want some other things done, like get some other things done, but I have to time it because he wants me to have so much time before I would get any filler. He said Botox is okay now. And now I went in for my tooth and there's 3 choices. Do nothing and have a retainer at night so your teeth don't move. Bottom of the thing, of the choice. And then the other one is you could have a bridge where they like file down 2 of the teeth on each side and put a bridge and cap onto that. Or you could have the post where it's an actual post into your bone and have a tooth there. which is the best option and the most expensive option, right? And then since it's up here, he showed me, I have a picture of me and my skeletal sinuses. Whoa, that's trippy as hell to see my eye sockets. But where the sinus bone comes down, it's just not thick enough right here for the post to go in.
Oh,
So he says you have to have a sinus lift
ooh,
to where they go in, make an incision, and they put bone in there to grow, and they lift it, right? So if that happens, there's 5 more months of that healing, and then they put the post in, hopefully everything goes, and then 3 months, I mean, 3
that's
months,
quite extensive.
3 months for that healing, and then to put the tooth on that post. And I looked to Steve, I said, my whole life is nothing but fucking waiting and patience, right?
I guess at least you'd be waiting to be more beautiful.
And so if I want Sculptra or anything like that, I have to time it, because that's going to be messed with.
Right.
They're gonna, he said there'll be for 2 or 3 days there'll be swelling and bruising, but for like 4 or 5 weeks, watch how you sneeze and don't blow your nose
Oh,
because that membrane in there is healing and strengthening.
that feels scary to me to put a bone inside of my head that doesn't have that bone. I don't know if I like that idea.
Well, he
I'm
put
not
bone
inherently scared of things like this.
he put bone in here already,
Oh.
for the floor between, the empty spot. He said, which that grew well. That's a
Oh.
nice. So
So are you waiting for clarity now?
I'm waiting, and I'm also put it out there for what insurance can pay for it, weighing and measuring that way. Tuesday I have an appointment with my dentist just for a consultation on the comparison of the two. The doctor that does the actual lift, I said, well, which one is better? I mean, he goes, well, I would say for me, implants every day, all day. That's going to be your strength. The other two, he says, you're awakening the teeth. But he said that could last you the rest of your life. And I said, well, I'm in the last stages of, the third stage. But if I live 15, 20 years, will it serve me if I go the other way? And that's when I made an appointment with my dentist.
Good.
So and then I called up
I think you're going to live 20 more years.
I do too. And then the other aspect is what will insurance pay?
Right,
And
exactly.
so they send everything in insurance, and I can't call for a week because they won't have it together to tell
Huh.
me. And I have the appointment in 3 weeks, but I can reschedule it if I change my mind.
Oh, well, just wait.
Hey, help me. So you brought that up just by your stupid injections because I don't know when I can get mine.
Hey,
Because
how much did you pay for your Sculptra? Do you remember?
oh, let me think. Because sometimes it depends where you're starting from. If it's just a touch up, or as opposed to you're starting, you'll probably
No,
have
it
at least.
wouldn't be just that. I'm asking because my friend who does this stuff, I told her about Sculptra, and she looked it up, and it seemed like it was 500 a pop, and she didn't know if
Yeah,
it
that's
would
about
want.
right. 500-600. Yeah.
I didn't know if it was more over here or if that's just what it was.
Probably in Mexico, you'd be a lot cheaper. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can go to Mexico to San Miguel and get this done, but
I'll go with you.
you have to come back, because you put this in, 5 months later, you go back.
Oh, right. Oh, that's all right. 5 months is a long time.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
But what George was telling me, he said that they're quality dentists, so it's not like,
Right. Well,
settling for some back
I'm
alley
gonna
thing.
see if I can get this fixed in Spain. So we'll see.
I hope you do.
I do too, thank you. I was thinking about you the other day and really appreciating that you really want the best for me. Like I really get that from you that when I do good things for me, you're happy for me. And that's lovely, Lily. Thank you.
I trust that you know what's good for you. You know, like when you respond to
Right,
something.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
And,
you.
and then you could have the resources. It's
I
cool
know,
that
that's just it. It's like I can't think of money as something that happens first. I have to get the clarity and the this and then the money happens. It can't be the other way around. That doesn't fit for me.
it's that one movie. It's called where it's about baseball, but he builds the stadium.
Oh yeah, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that's kind of this thing, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. If I'm clear, the money's there.
And in the meantime, while I'm getting clear, I'm just going to my dentist. I'm talking it out with Steve. I'm calling the insurance company.
Exactly. You could talk it out with me too if you want.
I just did. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I have one decision to make that you may have a thought about or not. Um, I was going to buy my ticket from Luxembourg back to Paris. I have my Paris back to London, and there's a cheap one. It's 27, but it's on Oigo, which is the one where if you bring an extra suitcase, you have to pay more, which we never found them to ask us about. Not
Right.
once. But what if they did? So now I'd hate to have to pay double because I didn't do it.
I mean, double would be a penalty, or that they would just collect what you would have
I
paid.
think it's like 10 bucks if you do it beforehand and 20 if you
Okay.
get caught, but I'd have to look that up to make sure. So it would be like 38, 39, say 40 with the extra 10. The rest of them are a lot more expensive. They range from 150 down to 56 or something. But if I got, and this one leaves in the afternoon, so I'd get into Paris, have a very short time, and then get on the other train. Or if I pay more, I could have a few hours in Paris.
So it just seems like you have to pay for something, extra luggage or extra hours in
No, no,
Paris.
no. If I pay for extra luggage, I'm still paying less than if I go earlier. It's quite a bit more. It's like double. I'm like, give me some time in Paris. But then I actually thought today maybe I could just change my Eurostar to a really lot later one. And then I would have the afternoon in Paris. Anyway, that's a little thing I'm looking at.
So what is what does it boil down to as far as the choices go?
The inexpensive one leaves at like noon, gets in at there was another thing that was part of it. And it stops over, but only for like an hour, less than an hour, like 50 minutes in a town called Metz, M-E-T-Z. So I wouldn't have time to see Metz. Even if I walked into town, I'd have to look and walk, run right back. And I don't know that I would very much because I get nervous around missing trains and things. Or I could take one that takes quite a bit longer, but stops for an hour or so in Nancy, and the train station in Nancy is right in the middle of town. So I actually could go walk around for half an hour. Nancy is one of the places I'd like to see. It was one of the ones I kind of caught my attention. So that would be like have an hour in Nancy instead of time in Paris and pay 20 something bucks more. Or I could go first thing in the morning, but that one was really, it was 100 and something, and I just don't see me doing that.
Does Nancy have lockers for you to put your stuff?
Yes, I looked it up and they did.
Good.
I have to go to the bathroom. I'm so sorry. I've been holding it and now it's just not wanting to hold anymore. You know, having said that to you, what it seems like to me is that I would rather have a little time and see Nancy than have a little time in Paris. Because in Paris, I would be from the Gare de East to the Gare du Nord, which is not the greatest of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Lyon, that's a nicer section. So, and I wouldn't go far afield. I just know myself. I know that I wouldn't risk.
Yeah, you can trust. Yeah.
So Nancy feels better. Then it's a 4-hour trip instead of a 2.5-hour trip. But one of those hours is
Out in
Nancy
Nancy.
and Nancy, and the other is because you have to go a little out of the way to get to Nancy. You've seen a whole lot of that area of France.
We considered Nancy, didn't we?
Yeah, it was one of the possible. Are you wanting to go out? Why don't you have something to eat and then you can go out and poop? Isn't that a good idea, Kitty? Very wanting to do things her way. This is a cat, apparently, if you put too much food in her bowl, she won't eat it. Like most animals, they really like their food fed up. No, you can't put too much or she won't like it. Well, hi. Now you're petting me, huh? Lovely. You're a sweet kitty. Yeah. I think you're a manifester, kitty.
Oh. It's 4 o'clock here already. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to
9
go
o'clock here.
and eat. I haven't eaten anything today, so
Baby girl.
I'm okay.
I love you. I would love to talk to you soon, so we'll see if you answer the phone when I call you. Want to see my rings?
Up. Hold it up more. Ooh, those are beautiful. Very, very classy.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
I love you, Lily.
Hey, Nancy.
Bye.
I love you, and I was going to get off on my phone, but I have to do it on the screen here. Okay.
Bye.
Good night.